Shen Yuan drives his red supercar through the university campus, drawing envious looks from other students who comment on his wealth and his constant rotation of beautiful girlfriends. His peers gossip about his latest conquest, a second-year goddess from the flight attendant class, remarking that being rich and handsome gives him first pick of partners. The narrative shifts to Shen Yuan's past, revealing his lavish lifestyle came to an abrupt end when his family's 3 travel agencies went bankrupt during his junior year, leaving them with $1 million in debt. His former friends quickly abandoned him, with one bluntly stating they weren't that close anymore. He recalls the hopeless feeling of his family being crammed into a small rented apartment while he had to move back into a college dorm. This downward spiral culminated in his girlfriend of 3 years, Zhu Wanting, coldly breaking up with him and telling him not to contact her again. When he questioned her heartlessness, she mocked their past passion and told him to stop calling her by her nickname, Ting. As she prepared to leave, he stopped her one last time, asking if she would return the designer bags he had bought for her. Enraged, she called him shameless for wanting a few crappy bags back after 3 years, and screamed at him to go to hell as a new man arrived in a car to pick her up. The man taunted Shen Yuan, offering him a ride and expressing faux concern that the breakup would be too much for him. Shen Yuan calmly declined and wished them well, telling the man to take good care of Wanting in the future. As they prepared to leave, Shen Yuan listed off Wanting's intimate preferences, from her favorite brand of condoms to her preferred roleplay uniforms, leaving her new boyfriend stunned and furious. Walking away from the scene, a golden holographic interface materialized before Shen Yuan, announcing the initiation of the perfect life system and displaying his current stats. The system explained its purpose: to help him achieve a perfect life built on wealth and the admiration of the opposite sex, then issued its first time-limited task, which was to spend money on a woman with an affinity level over 60 to receive a multiplied cash refund. At that moment, his counselor, Lai Zio, approached him to offer words of comfort about the breakup. A system notification appeared over her head, showing her affinity towards him was level 65. Realizing the system was real, Shen Yuan listened as Professor Lai mentioned a scholarship opportunity, which he politely turned down, suggesting it go to a student in greater need. Deciding to test the system on her, he stopped her as she was leaving and bought her a milk tea. The moment the 6 yuan transaction was complete, he received a notification from his bank of an 18 yuan deposit, confirming the system's 3-fold refund worked. A wave of excitement washed over him as he realized this was his chance to pay off his family's debt and become even richer than before. Contemplating his next move, he calculated his meager starting capital of 49,684 yuan. He decided his priority was to secure more funds and found a target in Professor Lai. He purchased a designer bag worth 39,800 yuan, planning to present it to her as a cheap 200 yuan knockoff to ensure she would accept it. He went to her apartment and found her cooking, then presented the bag as a token of his gratitude for her support over the years. She was hesitant, insisting that helping him was part of her job and that the bag looked too expensive, but he convinced her it was just a replica and she reluctantly accepted it. After she invited him to stay for dinner, he received a system notification that 119,400 yuan had been deposited into his account, a profit of nearly 80,000 yuan from a single gift, which filled him with an unprecedented sense of accomplishment. While waiting for dinner, he noticed only 2 place settings and asked about her boyfriend, only for her to clarify she was single. As she turned back to the stove, the tie on her apron came loose, and he stepped in to help her, their bodies close. Their moment was interrupted by the arrival of a young woman in a flight attendant uniform, who Lai Zio introduced as her younger sister, Lai Meng. Sensing the tension, Shen Yuan quickly made an excuse that he had already eaten and left the apartment. Back on campus, he was pondering who to spend money on next when his roommate, Huang Heibao, ran up to him in despair, crying that his crush, Fang Minhui, had gone to the movies with another man named Lai Jianping. Shen Yuan was initially unimpressed by his roommate's woes, but as he glanced over at Fang Minhui, a system prompt appeared, showing her affinity level towards him was a surprising 72. At the same time, Fang Minhui and her friend were discussing him, noting that he had been dumped and was still acting arrogant despite his family's bankruptcy. Shen Yuan noticed her affinity levels starting to drop and decided to intervene. After getting his roommate's blessing, he confidently approached the two. He invited Fang Minhui to a high-end sushi dinner the next day, an offer that shocked her friend with its extravagance, and she readily accepted after her friend's encouragement. The following evening at the restaurant, Minhui expressed concern over the cost, but Shen Yuan brushed it off. Her affinity level, which had been fluctuating, began to steadily climb as he reminisced about their positive interactions during their first year's basic training. The meal cost 2,774 yuan, a sum that shocked Minhui, who mentally contrasted Shen Yuan's generosity with Lai Jianpeng's stinginess. After he paid, a system notification confirmed a refund of over 8,000 yuan due to her increased affinity, which now stood at 76. After dinner, they went to a high-end shopping mall to look for a gift for his sister, only to run into his ex, Zhu Wanting, and her new boyfriend. The boyfriend immediately began mocking Shen Yuan for being in a place he presumably couldn't afford. Zhu Wanting then warned Minhui not to be fooled by Shen Yuan, while the boyfriend patronizingly told him there was no need to pretend to be rich. Just as Shen Yuan's anger peaked, a new system task appeared: raise the negative emotions of others while spending on a target to earn a doubled refund. Seizing the opportunity, Shen Yuan led Minhui into a luxury boutique, where a clerk who remembered him as a regular customer attended to them. While Wanting was trying to pressure her boyfriend into buying a 100,000 yuan set of accessories, Shen Yuan told the clerk he would take 2 bags that Minhui liked, along with a matching set of accessories, shocking everyone present. The total came to 131,000 yuan, which he paid by card without blinking, leaving Zhu Wanting speechless and demanding to know where he got the money. Her boyfriend attempted to save face by bragging about his expensive car, but Shen Yuan retorted that a real man should be generous with his woman, a clear jab at his reluctance to spend. Humiliated, the couple left after the boyfriend received an urgent phone call. With the task's conditions met, Shen Yuan turned to Minhui and presented her with the bags and accessories, explaining they were an apology for the insults she had to endure. She was stunned when he revealed that all the items, worth over 130,000 yuan, were for her and not his sister. As she accepted the gifts, the system confirmed the task's completion, rewarding him with a massive 786,000 yuan deposit, a 6-fold return on his investment. He walked her back to her dorm, deciding to let their relationship develop naturally rather than pushing things further. Returning to his own dorm, he heard Lai Zhenpeng boasting in a group chat about his movie date with Minhui, a clear attempt to provoke him. Unfazed, Shen Yuan simply checked his growing bank balance. The next day, he visited his family's home and found his uncle, Shen Yeyad, aggressively demanding repayment of a 200,000 yuan loan from his father. As his mother and aunt got into a heated argument, a new system task appeared: pay off family debts for a multiplied refund and a special reward for the first payment of 200,000 yuan. He stepped in and announced he had the money, silencing the room. He transferred the 200,000 yuan to his father, claiming it was profit from an old cryptocurrency investment. His overjoyed parents paid the debt immediately, and his mother curtly told Shen Yeyad that their families should keep their distance in the future. The uncle left, bewildered and suspicious of their sudden windfall. Shen Yuan promptly received a 400,000 yuan refund plus a special 1,000 yuan fund exclusively for purchasing a car, bringing his total balance to over 2 million yuan. He gave his father another 200,000 yuan for immediate expenses. Back at university, he ran into Professor Lai and her sister. The professor offered to treat him to dinner to repay his gift, but her sister Lai Meng's intense, hostile stare made him uneasy, and he quickly made an excuse to leave. Deciding to use his new car fund, he texted Minhui and asked for her help in picking out a vehicle. Her dorm mates excitedly teased her about the rapid progression of their relationship. At the car dealership, they were greeted by Qin Yang, a senior from Minhui's high school who now worked as a salesman there. Qin Yang, remembering Shen Yuan as a rival for Minhui's affection and assuming he was poor, treated him with disdain. When Shen Yuan expressed interest in test driving a high-end model, Qin Yang lied, claiming the test car was unavailable. Annoyed, Shen Yuan demanded another salesperson. A strikingly beautiful sales consultant named Chen Na approached them to assist. Qin Yang scoffed at his colleague for wasting time on a poor guy, just trying to show off for his girlfriend. But Chen Na professionally began to detail the car's features for Shen Yuan. Ignoring Qin Yang's negativity, Shen Yuan asked if any units were available for immediate purchase. Chen Na informed him that while they had no units in the store, a cancelled order at another branch meant one could be delivered within a week. Without hesitation, Shen Yuan agreed to place the order, shocking both Chen Na and espying Qin Yang with his decisiveness. After signing the contract and paying the 50,000 yuan deposit, Chen Na offered them a ride, but Shen Yuan politely declined. As they left, Chen Na realized she might have offended Minhui with her professional attentiveness. Outside, Shen Yuan noticed Minhui seemed upset and asked if she was jealous, which she denied, though her expression betrayed her feelings. He explained that his interaction with Chen Na was purely business, a habit of checking the social media of new contacts. He then playfully suggested that he would refrain from doing so in the future, causing Minhui to feel a pang of jealousy and a desire to lock him down. To solidify their new dynamic, he suggested they continue their day by shopping for another gift, which she eagerly agreed to. Over the next 3 hours, he lavishly spent over 80,000 yuan on a watch, a bag, and a bracelet for her. The system instantly rewarded him with a 252,000 yuan refund. Seeing his bank balance now over 2 million yuan, he felt a surge of confidence and asked Minhui if she wanted to skip going back to her dorm that night, an invitation she accepted with a soft mmm. Half an hour later, they were in a room at the Grand Magnate Hotel. While Shen Yuan showered, Minhui nervously messaged her roommate, lying that she was staying at her relative's house. When he emerged from the bathroom, she apologized for not having showered yet, but he told her it didn't matter, as he liked her scent. They embraced and kissed passionately before falling into bed together. Later, Shen Yuan felt exhausted but satisfied, surprised by how well their first time together had gone. Just as he was about to rest, Minhui, feeling invigorated, asked if they could do it again, and he eagerly agreed. The next morning, Shen Yuan returned to his dorm and immediately used his funds to pay off 52,000 yuan in personal loans and a 100,000 yuan debt to his friend, Lai Yuheng, receiving multiplied system refunds for both. His roommate asked if he saw the class group chat, where Lai Zhanpeng was showing off a new car and organizing a class dinner, clearly a move to assert dominance. Shen Yuan scoffed at the idea of attending. Just then, a new system task appeared, granting him a 1 million yuan investment fund that he had to use within a week, with the promise that all resulting income would be doubled. He immediately thought of investing in his friend Lai Yuhang's bar, which was currently under renovation. He accepted Yuhang's invitation to a gathering that night. At the restaurant, Yuhang's other friends complained about waiting for Shen Yuan, questioning why Yuhang would invite someone whose family had gone bankrupt. Meanwhile, Yuhang's cousin bragged about his beautiful girlfriend, Chen Na, who soon arrived late, explaining she was stuck in traffic. It was the same sales consultant from the car dealership. She recognized Shen Yuan immediately, but decided to act as if they had never met to avoid awkwardness. 40 minutes later, Lai Yuheng announced his plan to upgrade his bar and sought investors for the 4 million yuan project, offering 30% of the shares. His so-called friends, however, made excuses, downplaying the investment as a loan and revealing their unwillingness to risk their own money on his venture. Disgusted by their hypocrisy, Shen Yuan watched as they feigned camaraderie while refusing to support their friend. Annoyed by their empty talk, Shen Yuan declared that if they wanted to just have fun, he was out. When they mocked him for pretending to have money, he calmly stated that he would invest the 700,000 yuan himself. His declaration was met with disbelief and ridicule, with one friend offering to pay for his taxi fare home. Chen Na wanted to speak up in his defense, knowing he had just purchased a 600,000 yuan car, but hesitated, unsure of her place in the conversation. Without another word, Shen Yuan transferred the 700,000 yuan to Lai Yuheng's account. The notification sound from Yuheng's phone stunned the entire table into silence as they stared at the seven-figure sum on the screen. The sudden shift in the room's atmosphere was palpable, leaving everyone, including Chen Na, wondering what had just happened. Zai Heiji confronts his cousin, Lai Yuheng, demanding to know what the message on his phone said, but Lai Yuheng brushes him off, telling him to leave because his aunt and uncle are looking for him. Enraged and humiliated, Zai Heiji storms off, muttering about how Shen Yuan stole the spotlight. One by one, the other guests make their excuses and leave the party, abandoning Lai Yuheng. Annoyed, Zai Heiji grabs Chen Na as she's leaving and demands to know how she knew about the transfer, but she coldly reveals that Shen Yuan had just bought an M9 car from her yesterday, paying in cash. This new information stuns Zai Heiji, who can only watch as Chen Na pulls her arm away, tells him she's realized what kind of person he is, and declares they should never contact each other again. With everyone gone, a disillusioned Lai Yuheng laments to Shen Yuan that he wasted his money on such untrustworthy friends. Shen Yuan advises him that such people are fine for having fun with but can't be relied upon. The two then sit down to seriously discuss the business plan for the new bar, with Shen Yuan demonstrating a surprising level of commercial insight. An hour later, Shen Yuan receives a text from Chen Na asking if he's free to meet and discuss the car in person. He sees this as an opportunity to cultivate a new money tree, to maximize his system's rewards, and agrees to meet her the next day. The following day, Chen Na waits at her restaurant when she is unpleasantly surprised by the arrival of her boss, the general manager Zheng Xianyang, who crudely invites himself to join her. His associates speculate that she arranged the meeting on purpose to get his attention. Zheng Xianyang persists despite her polite refusals, becoming physically grabby and making suggestive remarks. Chen Na firmly tells him to keep his distance, reminding him that he has a family, but he dismisses her concerns and offers to divorce his wife for her. The situation escalates when the man from the previous night's dinner party storms in and accuses Zheng Xianyang of having an affair with his girlfriend, then punches him in the face. As a brawl erupts, Shen Yuan arrives, grabs Chen Na's hand, and pulls her out of the chaotic scene. Outside, a shaken Chen Na explains that her boss, Zhang Xianyang, is a known harasser and that she now has no idea how he will treat her at work. Seeing her distress, Shen Yuan tells her to change jobs, but she explains that starting over in sales is difficult. He then makes a bold offer, telling her to resign tomorrow and that he will invest 300,000 yuan to open a cafe for her to run. Stunned into silence, she watches as a system notification appears above her head, showing her affinity level towards him has jumped to 64. He sweetens the deal with a salary of 12,000 yuan a month plus bonuses and promises to buy her a 200,000 yuan car after 3 months of good performance. Overwhelmed by the life-changing offer, she wonders if he's trying to keep her as a mistress, especially since he already has a girlfriend. He clarifies that their relationship would be strictly professional, as he plans to open a chain of cafes and this would be the pilot project. That evening, Shen Yuan is back at the hotel with Fang Minhui, who immediately notices the scent of another woman's perfume on him and accuses him of cheating. He manages to placate her by explaining he was at the car dealership handling paperwork and must have picked up the scent from the salesgirls there. She agrees to forgive him but makes him promise to keep his distance from other women. He internally notes that he can't stick to just one money tree if he wants to maximize his system rewards. They begin to get intimate, and when she teases him about liking her scent even when she hasn't showered, he playfully turns her own words back on her, igniting her passion. 2 hours later, Minhui is still full of energy, while Shen Yuan is exhausted. He marvels at how their intimacy has boosted her affinity level to 90. This triggers a system reward, a 1 million yuan lottery ticket, a 1 million yuan spending voucher, and a new skill called Ruthless Power. As he contemplates the rewards, he feels a massive surge of energy and realizes the new skill is a physical enhancement. Empowered, he tells Minhui he has changed his mind about showering and pulls her back into bed, surprising her with his renewed vigor. The next morning, Chen Na is on the phone with her friend Kayan, telling her about Shen Yuan's incredible offer. Her friend is incredulous, asking about his age and appearance. When Chen Na confirms he is only 21 and handsome, her friend urges her to accept immediately, dismissing the fact that he has a girlfriend and saying she could easily win him over. Her friend's pragmatic advice makes Chen Na contemplate her next move as she looks out her window, murmuring Shen Yuan's name. Back at the hotel, Shen Yuan's new skill proves formidable, and after several more rounds, he and Minhui finally rest. The next morning, he checks the lottery ticket from the system and discovers he has won the 6.8 million yuan jackpot. He rushes home to tell his parents, who are initially disbelieving but are overcome with joy when he shows them the winning ticket. He tells them he plans to use 1 million of the winnings to start a business, and they give him their full support. Later, Chen Na confronts Zhang Xianyang at the dealership. He smugly informs her that he's suspending her from customer service duties for a month, which means she'll only receive her base salary of 200 yuan. Uncowed, she tells him his managerial position has gone to his head and quits on the spot, ignoring his pleas for her to reconsider as she walks out. She immediately texts Shen Yuan to accept his offer, and he congratulates her on escaping her hell. That same morning, Shen Yuan goes to help his professor, Lai Zio, move her office. As she struggles to reach a box on a high shelf, she loses her balance and falls directly into his arms. The close contact makes her heart pound, and she wonders if he might truly have feelings for her. Their moment is interrupted by other students arriving to help. Flustered, Professor Lai quickly gets back to work, but the incident has clearly affected her, and a system notification shows her affinity level has jumped to 71. Meanwhile, Lai Zhanpeng is at a cafe with friends, bragging about his new 280,000 yuan car. His boasting is cut short when Shen Yuan pulls up in his new, far more advanced M9 self-driving car. Shen Yuan meets Chen Na at an outdoor table, and Lai Zhanpeng and his friends can only watch in disbelief as the beautiful woman greets him warmly. Soon after, the cafe's owner, Lin Yucheng, arrives to meet them. Shen Yuan negotiates to buy the cafe from her for 250,000 yuan, a deal she accepts after a brief hesitation. She introduces him to the staff as the new boss, and he clarifies that Chen Na will be managing everything. As they finalize the deal, Lin Yucheng gets a call and Shen Yuan recognizes the caller ID photo. It's Zhang Xianyang, her husband and Chen Na's abusive former boss. Chen Na confesses that she has chat records of Zhang Xianyang harassing her and was planning to expose him. Shen Yuan advises against it, fearing the desperate, unemployed man might retaliate violently, and promises to handle the situation himself. He transfers the 250,000 yuan to Lin Yucheng and an additional 50,000 to Chen Na for salary and seed capital. This completes the system's investment task, unlocking a new 10 million yuan investment fund and the promise of a future mysterious industry reward. As he shakes Lin Yucheng's hand to seal the deal, he mentally notes the softness of her hand and wonders about the charm of a wife. That evening, he takes Chen Na to an expensive restaurant to celebrate their new partnership. When he asks her to sit closer, she becomes flustered, thinking about how much he has invested in her and wondering what he expects in return. He leans in close, but their moment is interrupted by a waiter arriving with their food. After a 652 yuan meal, which earns him a triple refund from the system, Chen Na suggests going back to the cafe to get acquainted with the operations. He dissuades her, saying it's too late and she should rest. As he drives her home, he asks if he can come up for a glass of water. She reluctantly agrees, and as she unlocks her door, he slips in behind her, grabbing her waist and pulling her into a passionate embrace. Downstairs, her ex-boyfriend, Zai Heiji, arrives with a bouquet of roses, planning to win her back, only to see the lights in her apartment are off. As he places the flowers at her door, he hears her moans from inside and realizes she is with another man. In a rage, he pounds on the door, screaming for Zheng Xianyang to come out. Inside, Shen Yuan recognizes the voice as Zai Heiji's and dismisses him as an idiot. He reassures a startled Chen Na that it's just the neighbors and leads her into the bedroom. Heartbroken, Zai Heiji leaves, muttering for her to at least use protection. The next day, after a night of passion, Chen Na wakes up and begins making breakfast, feeling a sense of domestic bliss she hasn't experienced before. Shen Yuan wakes up to the smell of food, and a new system task appears. Buy a property of at least 100 square meters for Chen Na within 24 hours for a doubled refund and a mysterious property reward. He goes to the kitchen and embraces her from behind, telling her that after breakfast they are going house shopping and he is gifting one to her, leaving her utterly speechless. Chen Na is taken aback by Shen Yuan's offer to buy her a house, questioning his motives and saying she has nothing more to offer him after their night together. Internally, Shen Yuan calculates that the system will give him a 5-fold refund on a 5 million yuan house, instantly boosting his savings to over 17 million. He embraces her, dismissing her financial concerns and teasing her about how loudly she moaned the previous night, which flusters her. She tells him she has friends coming to the cafe and suggests they go house hunting afterward, but he says they should set aside more time for such an important purchase. So she agrees to reschedule with her friends. In her car, Chen Na's friend Liu Minglu expresses disbelief that a man would spend so much money so quickly and insists on meeting him. Her other friend, Hu Kaiyanqian, agrees, and they convince Chen Na to let them tag along. 40 minutes later, they arrive at the upscale Songhu Tiandi Sales Center, where Minglu and Kaiyanqian are shocked by the high property values, realizing the house is a gift worth over 1 million yuan. After a warm greeting, they are introduced to Shen Yuan. Minglu, a personal trainer, immediately begins to flirt, complimenting his physique and inviting him to her gym, while Kaiyanqian, a Ferrari salesperson, also makes a suggestive sales pitch. Minglu silently notes the bruises on Chen Na's knees, concluding that she must have pleased her sponsor very well the previous night to earn such a reward. Both women's affinity levels toward Shen Yuan quickly rise above 60, making them new potential money trees. When a real estate agent approaches, Shen Yuan states his budget is 3 million and asks for direct recommendations, impressing the agent and Chen Na's friends with his decisiveness. The agent suggests a 165 square meter unit for 984 million, which Chen Na feels is too expensive, but Shen Yuan insists on getting her a large, comfortable house. Instead of asking for a bigger discount, he negotiates for 2 parking spaces for nearly the same price, a move that makes Minglu realize he is not just rich, but also savvy. After signing the contract and paying the 98 million yuan, the system confirms the task is complete, and a staggering 9 million yuan is deposited into his account, bringing his balance over 3 million. The system also rewards him with a mysterious property, a villa in the exclusive Kingzhu Lake residential area. The female real estate agent, clearly impressed, exchanges WeChat contacts with him, and his new acquaintances, Minglu and Kaiyanqian, also flirtatiously offer their services. Back at the university cafeteria, Professor Lai is eating alone when she receives a call from Secretary Liu. She then sends a text to Shen Yuan with a picture of a coffee she made, inviting him to the cafe. He playfully critiques her latte art. Meanwhile, Shen Yuan's female classmates, led by Kang Xiaoyi, spot him and gossip, assuming he must be working a part-time job to make ends meet. They approach him with condescending offers of support, and he decides to play along, inviting them to the coffee shop where he works. He arrives to find Chen Na and Liu Minglu already there, and when his classmates follow him in, they are mortified when a barista greets Shen Yuan as boss. Humiliated, they flee the shop without a word. Liu Minglu continues to flirt with him, using cheesy pickup lines and calculating his BMI as a pretense to get him to her gym. After she leaves for class, she winks and invites him to the second floor for some training later. He follows Chen Na upstairs, telling her that her own skills need extra training before pulling her into a passionate kiss. Their session is interrupted when Minglu returns for her forgotten bag and finds the door locked. Hearing her outside, Shen Yuan is amused and continues, while Minglu listens, flustered and aroused. 10 minutes later, Shen Yuan emerges and coolly tells her he'll see her next time, leaving her fuming. In his office, Secretary Liu is informed by Professor Lai that Shen Yuan has agreed to invest 10 million. The secretary is shocked by the amount but remains arrogant, summoning Shen Yuan to his office to put him in his place. While Shen Yuan is occupied with Chen Na, he takes Professor Lai's call and agrees to speak to the secretary on speakerphone. He bluntly tells the secretary he is busy with other investment projects and will schedule a meeting when he has time, then promptly hangs up, leaving both the secretary and Professor Lai stunned by his audacity. After he hangs up, Secretary Liu is furious, ranting about how every other student leader treats him with utmost respect. Professor Lai calmly suggests that since Shen Yuan has the capacity to invest, they should simply invite him out for a meal. Shen Yuan, meanwhile, is at the cafe with Chen Na and receives Professor Lai's dinner invitation, but decides to make her wait to gain the upper hand in their negotiation. He then gets a call from Fang Huimin, who asks him to go for a walk. She admits that it's her time of the month, but hints that she's still willing to be intimate if he really wants to. Touched by her consideration, he tells her to rest and that he'll come to her dorm to see her. On the track, he reassures her that her health is more important and they can wait. She asks what their relationship is, and her affinity level ticks up to 91. He confirms they are boyfriend and girlfriend, and when she presses him, asking if she is his only girlfriend, he affirms it, internally clarifying that the others are just sweeties and darlings, not official girlfriends. He promises to take her shopping for a car or a house, and she happily agrees to a house, resting her head on his shoulder as they walk back to her dorm. The next day, he receives a flirtatious video call from Liu Minglu, who calls him skinny boy and invites him to the gym. In the gym, Minglu tells Zhu Wanting about her friend's new sugar daddy who bought her a 3 million yuan apartment. Wanting is envious, complaining about her own stingy boyfriend, Hu Jun. Minglu reveals that the man is actually in his early 20s, handsome and tall, piquing Wanting's interest even more. Minglu then leaves to meet Shen Yuan, telling a surprised Wanting that she has to skip their session to go with the man to Qingzhou Lake to pick up the house. Wanting is stunned, realizing that Minglu has stolen her own best friend's man. A few minutes later, Shen Yuan arrives to pick up Minglu. From the gym window, Wanting and another fitness coach, Han Lihai, watch them leave. Han Lihai recognizes Shen Yuan's M9 car, but Wanting scoffs, saying he just bought his girlfriend a 3 million yuan house without blinking. At that moment, she finally recognizes the man in the car as Shen Yuan, the ex-boyfriend she dumped just 2 weeks ago, who is now a multimillionaire. The realization leaves her utterly devastated. At her apartment, a distraught Wanting blocks her current boyfriend's messages after he asks her to come over. She laments her decision to break up with Shen Yuan, wondering if she still has a chance with him now that he is so wealthy and surrounded by beautiful women. In the car, Minglu tells Shen Yuan his car is huge and perfect for off-road camping, a suggestive comment he plays along with, teasing her that she doesn't play by the rules. 30 minutes later, they arrive at the Qingzhou Lake sales office to finalize the contract for the villa. The real estate agent, Guan Xufeng, is surprised that they are signing the contract directly without viewing the property first. In the car afterward, the agent silently observes that they don't look like a couple and envies Minglu's figure. As they pull up to the massive villa, Minglu is awestruck, realizing the life of the rich is like a dream. The system congratulates Shen Yuan on acquiring his first home and rewards him with a 20 million yuan fund exclusively for renovations. He asks the agent for recommendations for top renovation companies, then allows Minglu to film a video of the villa for her QuickSound account, as long as she doesn't show his face. She teases that with his looks, other influencers would be posting edited pictures of him online. He learns she has over 50,000 followers and invites her to collaborate on a bar review video for his own channel. She eagerly agrees, and as they drive away, he asks if they are heading back to the gym, but she slyly replies that she thought they were going to play ball. He calls her out on her forwardness, but she retorts that he was the one who hit on her bestie yesterday. He pins her against the seat, asking if she wants him to take her place, a challenge she coyly accepts, believing that playing hard to get will make him treasure her more when he finally wins her over. When he drops her off, she tells him to stop by the gym sometime. At the gym, the manager, Huang Mingbo, reprimands Minglu for skipping a client session, informing her that Miss Zhu Wanting filed a formal complaint. Minglu realizes Wanting came after her out of jealousy and scoffs at the manager's transparent attempt to use the situation to get closer to her. He invites her to lunch, but she coldly rebuffs him, saying she doesn't eat things with too much exposure, a clear jab at his reputation, and walks away, confident in her path to a luxury mansion. The school committee secretary, Kang Zongping, discusses a student named Shen Yuan with another official, questioning the reason for his direct admission to the entrepreneurship base and asking if his homeroom teacher has been contacted. The teacher has not yet sent the application materials, and the officials agree they need all the details before making a decision. They decide against alerting Shen Yuan directly and instead plan to bring his teacher to a preliminary meeting that afternoon. Later, at 5 p.m. in the boys' dormitory, a student excitedly shows his phone to his friend, whom he calls Third Bro, asking for an estimate on how long it will take to conquer a girl named Tian Yuping he's been chatting with on WeChat. Another friend, observing the conversation history, dryly notes that it's been over 3 years with no progress. The first student points out that she now replies to every message and has agreed to go to Yulu Mountain on the weekend, which he considers a qualitative leap forward. His friend sarcastically tells him that as long as he's happy, that's what matters. Shen Yuan is then asked for his opinion, and the friend points out that Shen Yuan is the most experienced one in their dorm, unlike the other friend, Lao Kao, who is a virgin. After some prodding, Shen Yuan apathetically agrees that things are definitely happening, which sends his friend into a joyous celebration. A loud knock interrupts them, and the friend opens the door to find Secretary Kong, Secretary Liu, and a counselor, his demeanor instantly becoming respectful. The officials ask if Shen Yuan is there and are invited inside. Other dorm residents begin to gossip, wondering why school officials are there. They speculate that Shen Yuan must be doing something illegal, as his family is bankrupt yet he's still buying cars and dating women off campus. One student, Lai Jianpeng, confidently states that the leaders are there to hold Shen Yuan until the police arrive, but another student tells him to stop talking nonsense. The counselor introduces the two secretaries from the student committee to Shen Yuan. Secretary Kang Zongping invites Shen Yuan to join them for a meal that evening, which he accepts. As Shen Yuan leaves with the officials, his dorm mates are left in stunned silence. They realize the leaders weren't there to investigate him, but to personally invite him to dinner, concluding that Shen Yuan must have some serious clout and is on a completely different level than them. At the Nanjing restaurant, Secretary Kong encourages Shen Yuan to speak freely about his plans for the entrepreneurship base. Shen Yuan lays out his primary condition for investing. He demands full autonomy, meaning he alone will decide who receives investment funds and how much, without any interference from the school. Secretary Liu protests, but Secretary Kong calms him, explaining to Shen Yuan that university entrepreneurship programs are complex and involve the Education Bureau, making student success rates a crucial factor. Shen Yuan dismisses this, stating that without funding, success rates are just empty words and he should be considered the person in charge. He claims their goals are aligned, as his investment's purpose is to make money, and reveals his larger plan is to use the base to build new industries and train his own core team, noting that his system's missions require many female participants, and college girls are easier to manage than women already in the workforce. Secretary Kong says he will have to discuss the request with the Education Bureau leaders before giving an answer. After dinner, a woman named MS. Lai is told to drive Shen Yuan back since he's been drinking. As they get into his new SUV, he mentions he got tired of sedans. MS. Lai takes a call, explaining to the caller that she had to switch shifts and can't help with moving. Shen Yuan overhears and asks if she's moving, offering to help. She initially refuses, feeling it's inappropriate to use his new car for moving, but he insists a car is just a tool. He persuades her by saying that as her student, helping her is no big deal, and she eventually blushes and agrees. In the car, MS. Lai reflects on Shen Yuan's handsome features and his persistence, concluding that he must be romantically interested in her. She also realizes a bag he previously gave her, which he claimed was a knockoff, was likely genuine given his current financial status. She brings up the bag, noting it was a genuine gift for a teacher he likes, but before she can explain why it's inappropriate, he leans in and kisses her. He tells her not to refuse him as he's not giving up. She says she's heading back to the dorm because there's no room at her place. He parks the car, hands her the keys for her to pick up the next day, and pulls her in for another kiss as she takes them. Later, MS. Lai thinks to herself about how bold Shen Yuan is becoming, kissing her at her home, her office, and now directly calling him a bad student. Shen Yuan then receives a call asking him to open the cafe for MS. Lin Yucheng, who left her child's toys inside. He meets her there and she apologizes for the inconvenience while collecting the toys. He sees the toys and asks how old her child is. She replies that her son is 3. Shen Yuan also notices a bottle of wine, guessing she often drinks alone. After gathering the toys, MS. Lin looks wistfully at the wine, remarking on the memories it holds. Sensing her sadness is related to her husband, Shen Yuan invites her for a couple of drinks. Surprised, she accepts. She asks how he knew she was feeling down about family, and he reveals he knows her husband, Zheng Xianyang, the general manager of the Force store. He mentions he heard about how Zheng Xianyang harassed an employee named Chen Na, causing her to resign. MS. Lin clarifies that he only harassed her, then confides that she was already planning to divorce him, having collected evidence of his cheating and bribing subordinates. Her only hesitation is for their child, fearing the effects of a single-parent home. Shen Yuan advises her that cutting ties is necessary and that protecting her child from the toxic environment is the right decision. She is impressed by his maturity and unique charm. As they leave, she stumbles and he catches her, pulling her close. They share a kiss. Afterward, a flustered MS. Lin walks away, blaming the wine for her actions but admitting she felt a surprising sense of satisfaction. Later that night, Shen Yuan calls a woman named Nana, telling her his dorm is closed and he needs to sleep at her place, promising he only wants to hug. When he arrives, Nana, dressed in a nightgown, lets him in, asking how much he drank. After he explains it was a dinner with school leaders, she tells him to rest while she makes tea, but he insists on hugging first. In bed, she questions if this is just a hug, and he reaffirms it is, telling her she knows his character. She mentally scoffs, remembering his past flimsy excuses to get close to her. Lying under separate quilts, Shen Yuan suddenly pretends to be cold, sneezing and complaining about the air conditioning. When she offers to adjust it, he says there's no need and that they could just share a quilt. He pulls her under his quilt, holding her and remarking that it's not cold anymore. The next morning, Shen Yuan wakes up to a note from Nana, who has already gone to the cafe. She informs him she washed his clothes, bought him a new set, and left breakfast for him. Touched by her kindness, he decides he must reward her by buying her a car. He then receives a video call from a woman in workout clothes who he recognizes as Nana's best friend. She flirtatiously asks when he's coming to the gym. He quickly moves the phone away and she teases him, asking if he's afraid she'll eat him up, making him think she is blatantly trying to seduce him. A call from his counselor interrupts his thoughts. He ends the video call, telling Nana's friend he has important things to handle. The counselor informs him that his proposal for the entrepreneurship base has been approved by the school and the education board, with official documents to be drafted soon. She says they will send him student applications for evaluation and asks if the form should include height, weight, and a personal photo at his request. She questions the relevance of physical attributes to a startup, and he explains that a good physique and appearance indicate discipline, and his standards are very high. The counselor agrees to add the fields and mentions that Secretary Liu has arranged for student council reps to contact him later. She then reminds him that she and her sister are moving the next morning and asks if he's free. He confirms he will see her tomorrow morning. A half hour later, as he's about to leave, Liu Minglu calls again, annoyed that he hasn't come to find her yet. He explains he's about to head out to meet with interior design companies about his villa's layout. She playfully asks if he needs a little burden to come along. He initially questions why he should bring a burden, but then agrees, thinking a pretty girl might be helpful when discussing designs. She tells him to pick her up at the gym. While waiting for her outside the gym, another man strikes up a conversation, guessing he's waiting for a girl and commenting that his car is nice but not enough for top-tier women, suggesting he needs a car like his own G-Wagon to impress a goddess. Just then, Minglu exits the gym, and the man with the G-Wagon greets her, saying he's been waiting forever and asks what she wants to eat. Minglu apologizes to the man, Mr. Fan, stating she already has plans with a friend. She thinks to herself that while Fan is rich, the money is his parents', whereas Shen Yuan is in a different league. Mr. Fan offers to join them and pay, but Shen Yuan interjects, saying he minds because he doesn't like dining with people who drive G-Wagons, before telling Minglu to get in the car. As they drive away, a confused Mr. Fan asks a bystander what just happened. In the car, Minglu reveals that the man has been pursuing her for a long time, but she never agreed to date him. Shen Yuan notes her quiet demeanor, and she pouts, asking what he wants her to say. He teases her, guessing she's trying to make him feel threatened by showing she has other suitors. He then says men only get lively when exercising or about to exercise, and since they aren't playing ball, he asks how she expects him to be lively. She blushes furiously, calling him a pervert. He innocently claims he was talking about basketball. She dismisses his claim, reminding him of how he rushed upstairs with Nana at the cafe, saying she knows exactly what was on his mind. Changing the subject, he notes she's been quite free lately to hang out with him. She explains she pushed back all her private training sessions for him, which makes him feel a little bad. She tells him that if he really feels bad, he can treat her to a few good meals to make up for it. He playfully responds that he has plenty for her to eat, making her huff that all he does is take advantage of people. He stops teasing and says they'll eat first before heading to the design firms. That afternoon, they meet with Fu Zhengmei, the chief designer at Guanshen. Shen Yuan keeps the meeting brief, stating he's there to review the designs based on the requirements he sent online. The designer presents 3 styles: European, light luxury, and new Chinese, based on his budget and preferences. Liu Minglu is impressed, and when she asks Shen Yuan about his budget, he states it is 20 million. Minglu is utterly shocked by the amount. She thinks that a 10 million yuan villa plus a 20 million yuan renovation means he's spent 30 million like it's nothing, implying his net worth must be over 100 million. She feels she has underestimated him and needs to step up her game. Shen Yuan chooses the new Chinese style with his earlier mentioned additions and informs the designer he has a meeting with another firm and will compare both before deciding. The designer readily agrees, and her colleague invites Shen Yuan to dinner that night on behalf of their general manager, who wishes to be friends regardless of whether they get the contract. Shen Yuan finds a dinner invitation a bit much since he hasn't placed an order, but he agrees. The designer adds him on WeChat to send the restaurant location, thinking to herself that a 20 million yuan renovation is a massive job that could sustain their entire company, and they must treat this high-value client well. Later, the designer reports to her boss, GM Wan Renmin, that Mr. Shen has agreed to dinner. GM Wan emphasizes the importance of closing the deal and asks if he's coming alone. She replies that he brought a woman who didn't seem to be his girlfriend. GM Wan decides their company's ace player, Su Zue, must join them as a VIP like Mr. Shen deserves special treatment. In the car, Liu Minglu complains about the heat. Shen Yuan asks for the plan, and she teases him about mooching another meal, then declares she's sticking with him all day as his little shadow. He jokes that to be his shadow, she has to stick with him for a full day and night, not just the daytime. She calls him a perv but declares she's not getting out of the car and is coming with him. A call comes in from a woman named Kai Qian who asks Liu Minglu what she's doing. Minglu says she is in Shen Yuan's car. Kai Qian is shocked, asking when they did it, and then reveals she thought Minglu was with Mr. Fan in his G-class. Minglu clarifies the situation and boasts that Shen Yuan just bought a 10 million yuan villa and is spending another 20 million on renovations. Kai Qian is astounded by the extravagance. Minglu's friend, Chen Na, who is with Kai Qian, overhears the conversation and realizes Minglu is also about to board the luxury cruise ship, feeling left behind as both her best friends have found wealthy partners. That evening at the Nanjing restaurant, a young man named Xiao Yao greets GM Wan as Uncle Wan. GM Wan says he is waiting for an important client and will join Xiao Yao for a toast later. Xiao Yao notes the client must be very important for his uncle to wait in person. As GM Wan's guests arrive, he sees a beautiful girl with them and is instantly smitten. GM Wan welcomes Mr. Shen, who introduces himself as Shen Yuan. GM Wan shakes his hand, calling him a young and promising person. He asks if Liu Minglu is Shen Yuan's girlfriend, but Shen Yuan clarifies they are just ordinary friends and her surname is Liu. Liu Minglu is internally annoyed that he was so quick to deny she was his girlfriend. GM Wen introduces his design assistant Su Zue to Shen Yuan. Shen Yuan is immediately struck by her delicate and pure demeanor, which is completely different from any other girl he knows. GM Wan, noticing the good impression, decides it will be easier to get closer to him. At the table, GM Wan toasts to friendship rather than business. Suzue is prompted to toast Mr. Shen as well. As they raise their glasses, Liu Minglu jealously tells Shen Yuan he'd better stop drinking since he has to drive later, but he says he'll listen to her and then agrees to drink with her instead. Mr. Shen is toasted again, this time by Suzue, who offers him tea since he can't drink. GM Wen continues his sales pitch, mentioning Zue is a senior at South China University and that they, as young people, should connect on WeChat. Xiao Yao then approaches their table to offer a toast to Uncle Wan. He introduces his nephew Lin Guangyao to the table. GM Wen introduces Shen Yuan and suggests they get to know each other. When Lin Guangyao sees Shen Yuan, he is shocked, wondering what that bastard is doing here. Shen Yuan recognizes him as well. Lin Guangyao is internally furious, realizing that his uncle wants him to toast Shen Yuan, which feels like being asked to lick his boots. When GM Wen asks if they know each other, Shen Yuan says sort of. The GM laughs, revealing that Guangyao's friend, Shen Yuan, has just bought a villa and plans to spend 20 million on renovations with their company. Lin Guangyao is stunned, wondering how Shen Yuan became so rich so fast and how the gap between them grew so large in such a short time. He decides to swallow his pride and follow his uncle's lead. He offers a toast, congratulating Shen Yuan and calling him Mr. Shen. 3 hours later, GM Wen asks Shen Yuan if he wants to go to a bar or for karaoke. He then turns to trainer Liu, asking if she wants to go. Liu Minglu hesitates, thinking that her disciplined lifestyle of early nights and no drinking is the reason for her great figure. Shen Yuan notices her nervousness and tells her she'd better not go, as sleeping early is healthier. Minglu, however, worries that if she doesn't go, GM Wan will get Shen Yuan drunk and send him to a hotel with Su Zue, whom he clearly took a liking to at dinner. Imagining them together, she realizes she won't have any fun if that happens, and emphatically declares that she has to go. At a karaoke bar, Shen Yuan declines a toast from a red-haired woman, stating they have all had enough to drink. He advises her not to frequent such places if she feels uncomfortable, reminding her that it is just work for which she thanks him. He perceives her vulnerability, reflecting on the difficulties a young woman from a modest background faces to secure an internship at a major company like Guantang. A purple-haired woman, Coach Liu, approaches and questions why he is unconcerned about her presence. He retorts, asking if she needs his attention when there are plenty of other men like the Mr. Fan with a G-Wagon who likely messaged her again. She dismisses his remarks as irrelevant, silently lamenting that her usual tactics are useless against him and that she feels ensnared in her own trap. The red-haired woman offers to cue a song for Shen Yuan, but he tells her to pick anything she likes. Coach Liu observes the interaction, thinking the younger woman appears stressed, but Shen Yuan remarks that Coach Liu's own gaze is quite similar. She refutes this, claiming her look is one of pure desire, not affection. He calls this her advantage, suggesting that the outcome is always the same regardless of the woman. When she asks what that outcome is, he bluntly states it is rolling around under the bedsheets, which startles her. Internally, Coach Liu feels frustrated by Shen Yuan's ability to back her into a corner, yet she appreciates his honesty compared to other men who mask their lust with false affection. She urges him to stop, pointing out that others are nearby. Another man then announces that Zue has selected a song for him and invites him to sing. The evening continues with karaoke until 11 p.m. Outside, the man expresses his pleasure at making friends with Shen Yuan and suggests they should meet up more often. He pivots the conversation to business, promoting his renovation company, Guantang, as the most professional choice and expressing a desire to collaborate. Shen Yuan mentions he has reviewed 2 companies and finds their designs professional and their pricing competitive, promising to consider their offer before the man departs. Shen Yuan then notices that Zue, the red-haired woman, is intoxicated and asks about her. The man, her boss, assures Shen Yuan that he will see his apprentice home safely. Shen Yuan then turns to Coach Liu and offers to call a cab for her. When she asks about his plans, he reveals he is getting a room at a hotel for the night. She questions his choice, asking if he has nowhere better to stay, and then provocatively suggests he could take her in instead. Shen Yuan moves closer to her, their faces almost touching. She internally resolves to act on her intuition, feeling that she must seize the opportunity before he is taken by someone else. As he pulls away, a favorability meter appears above her head, showing 75 points. She internally wrestles with her image as a proper girl, while he silently wonders why Liu Minglu's favorability has increased so dramatically when he has done so little. He again offers to hail a cab for her, but she protests, declaring she doesn't want to go back. He asks where she intends to sleep, and she complains about his perceived indifference after she has shown so much initiative. He relents, suggesting they can find a different hotel. In the car, she feels nervous, hoping he will be more gentle than he was with Nana at the cafe. Outside the Grand Hyatt, onlookers admire her appearance and comment on the power of wealth. At the hotel's reception, Shen Yuan requests an executive suite for an entire month. The receptionist quotes him a price of 110,640 for the month-long stay. Shen Yuan confirms he wants the room for a month, providing his card and specifying the first room on the 52nd floor. He calculates that with Liu Minglu's favorability over 60, the triple cashback reward will make the expense highly profitable. Inside the luxurious suite, she expresses her admiration for the stunning view and notes how comfortable he seems in such opulent surroundings. She feels a pang of guilt, as if she is betraying Nana, but pushes the feeling aside, hoping for a good start with Shen Yuan. He embraces her from behind, telling Coach Liu that she is the only one he sees and asks if they can begin their practice. She demurs, saying she needs to shower first, but he insists she can shower later. Flustered, she points to the open curtains, but he reassures her that it is one-way glass and from the 52nd floor, no one can see in, playfully adding that there is nothing wrong with putting on a show. She calls him mean as they stand by the window in an embrace, and the scene implies they spend the night together. The next morning, Shen Yuan awakens late, feeling the heat of the day. He reflects on the previous night, surprised by Liu Minglu's sensitivity and admitting he was concerned she might become dehydrated. Liu Minglu wakes up and playfully scolds him for being so eager when they only went to sleep at 4 a.m., asking if he has any consideration for her. She internally chides herself, wondering how a fitness coach like her could be so easily overcome by a man she considers a thin stack. He addresses her as Lulu, assuring her that he does care and that he was holding back for her sake. She tells him not to call her Lulu, not wanting the same fate as Nana, and asks for more sleep. He agrees, telling her that as a reward for her good behavior, he will buy her a car worth up to 3 million when she wakes. Shocked, she sits bolt upright and asks him to repeat what he just said. She excitedly asks if she can really choose any car under 3 million for herself. After he confirms, she joyfully professes her love for him, while he privately considers the implications, wondering how Nana would feel if he spent more on a car for Liu Minglu than he did on her house. She tells him she has always wanted a Porsche and asks if one slightly over 2 million is acceptable, to which he agrees. She then mentions that Nana prefers Maserati, a brand she also finds pretty. Shen Yuan's interest is piqued, and he asks if Nana truly likes Maserati. Liu Minglu correctly guesses that he is now thinking of buying a car for Nana as well. He admits he is considering it, prompting Liu Minglu to reflect on Nana's luck, receiving a house and a car worth over 5 million in total. Meanwhile, Liu Minglu receives a text from a friend who saw her at the Grand Hyatt. She confirms she was with Shen Yuan, confessing that her heart softened. The friend, who is also close with Nana, silently judges Liu Minglu for acting as if she were coerced when the encounter was consensual, suspecting she was the one who initiated it. The friend then muses on her own bad luck, realizing her other best friend has also boarded the luxury cruise while she has been left behind. Back in the hotel room, Shen Yuan instructs Coach Liu to select her car and send him the payment details. A heart icon above her head displays an affection level of 86. He notes that the score has risen from a peak of 82 the previous night, bringing him closer to the 90-point route. Later, while driving, Shen Yuan speaks with Nana on the phone, who asks when he will visit to try her new coffee recipes. He tells her he is busy today but intends to buy her a car and encourages her to go look at some. Surprised, she reminds him that he recently bought her a house and urges him not to waste money, as she already has a vehicle. He insists, saying he enjoys buying gifts for his woman and that money is no object, then asks her preferred car type. She suggests a modest B-class car, but he dismisses the idea, declaring that his woman's car must cost at least 2 million. Framing it as an early birthday gift, he then cautiously asks how she would feel if something were to happen between him and Liu Minglu. He decides it is better to be honest than for her to hear it from someone else. Nana quietly admits that she would mind. She adds that she knows she cannot change him and appreciates his honesty, but asks that he not tell her about any future indiscretions to spare her the pain. He reassures her that she is unique in his heart and irreplaceable. When she asks if he has said this to anyone else, he promises that he has only ever said it to her. She believes him and states her needs are simple. A weekly visit to her cafe or a shared meal at home is all she desires. Touched by her sincerity and her tendency to save him money, he promises to visit her that night to make up for his absence. She playfully asks if he will make it up to her in a proper way, and after he confirms, she teases him about his character before ending the call to return to work. He hangs up and reflects on the difficulty of being a scumbag, wondering how other men successfully manage multiple relationships without being discovered. Later, Shen Yuan encounters a woman he addresses as counselor struggling with boxes on a staircase and offers his help. He takes the heavy boxes from her as she continues up the stairs. He insists on carrying them for her, but one of the boxes is filled with her lingerie. The lid falls off, spilling bras and underwear all over the steps, causing them both immense embarrassment. In a fleeting fantasy, he imagines her seductively asking if he prefers pink, white, or celadon lingerie, and he wishes the vision were real. Snapping back to reality, the mortified counselor tells him she will gather her things herself and asks him to move the other items. Another woman observes them and states that they will need to make 2 trips, telling them to go ahead first. In the car, the counselor, whose name is revealed to be Lai Zio, directs him to the Dingsheng community. She apologizes for her sister's behavior, explaining it is just her personality, but Shen Yuan finds her sister warmer than on previous occasions. Lai Zio explains her sister's cynicism towards men stems from being cheated on by a college boyfriend, an experience that left her devastated. Shen Yuan condemns the ex-boyfriend as human trash. Lai Zio laughs and turns the question on him, asking if he is also a scumbag. He denies it vehemently, claiming to be the purest of men, and then asks for her opinion on men in general. She describes herself as neutral, as she has not had the same negative experiences as her sister. He leans in close and asks what she thinks of him specifically. In the car, a flustered Lai Zio asks Shen Yuan what he meant. He dismisses it as a joke and asks why she is so nervous. Later, at her new apartment, she thanks him for his help moving and offers to buy him dinner as a token of her gratitude. He declines the meal, suggesting there are other ways she can thank him before leaning in to kiss her. She tries to resist, but they are interrupted by her sister, Lai Meng, knocking at the door having forgotten her key. As Lai Zio moves to let her in, Shen Yuan embraces her from behind. Panicked, she says she cannot, but he tells her not to worry and that he will help. When Lai Meng enters, she immediately asks her sister why her face is so red, wondering if she has a sunburn. Lai Zio claims she just needs to rest, silently cursing Shen Yuan's shamelessness and feeling relieved her sister did not suspect anything. She then informs Shen Yuan about the assistant and office arranged for him by the student council and says she will send him the contact information. He thanks her and prepares to leave, sensing she wants him to go before her sister becomes suspicious. After his departure, Lai Meng questions her sister about Shen Yuan, noting their relationship seems too intimate for a teacher and student. Lai Xiao admits she is unsure of her feelings. Lai Meng concludes that her sister has spring fever and warns her that while Shen Yuan has good qualities, he does not seem trustworthy. When asked if she disapproves, Lai Meng says it is Lai Xiao's life to live but advises her to be cautious. Later in the school cafeteria, a student named Fu Yingzi greets Shen Yuan. He comments that her voice sounds different from how it does on the radio, and she explains that she adopts a persona for her broadcasts. She informs him that the office space he was assigned is being prepared, and he tells her he will need her assistance with other matters as well, which she readily agrees to. Their conversation is interrupted by another student, Feng Zegui, who presents Fu Yingzi with a milk tea. She declines, stating she is cutting back on sugar, but he insists, having gone to great lengths to get it for her. The ensuing argument attracts a crowd of students, who begin to gossip about a love triangle and speculate that the two men are rivals for Fu Yingzi's affection. Watching from afar is another student, Fang Minhui, who looks on with displeasure. She approaches Shen Yuan's table, interrupting his conversation with Fu Yingzi. Minhui pointedly asks Shen Yuan if he is planning to flunk his classes due to his prolonged absence. Feeling the tension, Fu Yingzi quickly excuses herself, claiming she has work to do at the radio station. The onlookers buzz with excitement, interpreting the scene as a confrontation between two campus goddesses over the same man. Fang Minhui demands to know what Shen Yuan was discussing with Fu Yingzi, privately vowing not to let another attractive girl get close to him. He explains it was related to the school's entrepreneurship center. She expresses her desire to spend more time with him before heading to her class. After she leaves, Shen Yuan receives a call from Coach Liu, who has found a car for a discounted price of 2.52 million. He instructs her to send the dealership's information for a wire transfer, and she responds with an effusive declaration of love. She then asks if he will meet her at Junyu that evening, mentioning she has brought 2 special outfits for him to see. Confused, he claims to know nothing about it, but she tells him he will find out when he arrives. This leaves Shen Yuan in a predicament, as he had already made plans with Nana and Hui for the same evening. At Lai Xiao's home, her sister Lai Meng suggests they invite Shen Yuan for dinner, framing it as a thank you for his help with the moves. When Lai Xiao questions her motives, Lai Meng admits she finds his bad boy persona alluring and wants to take a bite out of him, though she quickly covers by saying she is merely helping her sister vet him. A nervous Lai Xiao agrees to make the call. Shen Yuan, feeling overwhelmed by the attention from multiple women, decides to accept Lai Xiao's invitation and decline the others. He arrives at the apartment to find Lai Xiao dressed only in a towel. She invites him in, explaining that dinner will be a while. He makes himself at home, which causes her to shyly dodge his advance. He asks for Lai Meng, and Lai Xiao informs him that her sister is in the shower. As he heads towards the kitchen, she anxiously tells him to stay out, but he dismisses her nervousness, saying he only wants to help. She insists he wait in the living room. He disregards her plea and enters the kitchen to keep her company, closing the distance between them. When she protests that he is too close, he moves even closer, asking what she is trying to do. He answers his own question by embracing her from behind and kissing her, despite her reminders that her sister is nearby. He reassures her that her sister will be in the shower for a long time. But his timing is off, as Lai Meng calls out from the bathroom to ask if dinner is ready. Shen Yuan quickly releases Lai Xiao, telling her not to panic. At the dinner table, Lai Meng begins to question Shen Yuan about his past relationships, asking how many girlfriends he has had. He tells her he has had 2 publicly known girlfriends. Lai Meng expresses her concern that his experience might be a risk for her sister, who has never dated. Shen Yuan internally scoffs, thinking she would be horrified if she knew the full extent of his romantic entanglements. She then asks about his family, and he mentions he has a younger sister in high school. After 10 minutes of questioning, he concludes that Lai Xiao must have told her sister about him. He subtly touches Lai Xiao's foot under the table, interpreting Lai Meng's scrutiny as a sign of her slowly warming up to him. Lai Xiao flinches at his touch, shocked by his audacity in front of her sister. She abruptly excuses herself to wash fruit. Sensing the mood has shifted, Shen Yuan announces his departure, claiming he has things to do. Lai Meng seems surprised by her sister's quiet demeanor. As he leaves, Shen Yuan decides it is wise to retreat and prepare for his next battlefield. After he is gone, Lai Meng advises her sister to continue testing him. Lai Xiao reflects on his maturity but is unsettled by his boldness, especially given that they are not officially in a relationship. Shen Yuan proceeds to Nana's apartment, where she greets him, surprised by his haste. He asks if she still possesses a specific gray business suit and black stockings, and tells her to guess why he is asking. He reminds her of her request for a proper makeup session and declares his intention to compensate her to the tune of several hundred million. She is flustered, insisting that was not the kind of compensation she had in mind. Later, dressed in the requested attire, she wonders aloud why men have such preferences. He tells her she will understand eventually, then kisses her deeply. An hour and a half later, a system notification confirms that Nana's affection level has surpassed 90. The mission completion screen appears, promising an incoming reward. The rewards include a length increase, a $5 million car credit, and an exclusive skill pack. He is stunned by the length increase reward and eagerly inspects the new skill, warning Nana that she will need to be resilient that night. From the other room, Nana calls out, asking what is happening. He cryptically replies that this is the answer to her question about men's sartorial preferences, causing her to cry out his name in surprise. In bed, Nana remarks that Shen Yuan feels different, leaving her feeling completely drained. He confirms that he is different and promises more surprises. He views her state as the highest form of compliment. A system window for a skill redemption card appears, allowing him to exchange it for any previously offered skill. The list of available skills includes cooking, combat, and home appliance repair, among others. He dismisses most of them but considers the combat skill for self-defense and the home appliance repair skill as a potential way to get closer to his tutor. He fantasizes about fixing her television and having her thank him intimately. Concluding that the repair skill offers more strategic advantages, he selects it, noting the increasing generosity of the system's rewards and eagerly anticipating who will be the next to reach 90 affection. His thoughts are interrupted when Nana receives a distressing phone call from her mother. She learns that her father has been hospitalized after suffering a stroke from excessive drinking. Nana blames herself, believing his anger over her refusal to attend a blind date led to the incident. Shen Yuan immediately offers to drive her to her hometown, but she declines, deeming a nighttime drive unsafe. Although he offers to accompany her the next day, she decides it would be inappropriate to bring him home under such circumstances and insists on going alone. He tells her to contact him if she needs financial help or assistance with medical arrangements. The following morning, he finds that she prepared breakfast for him before her departure, marveling at her thoughtfulness. He then receives a call from Fu Yingzi, who informs him that his new office is ready and asks him to choose the furniture. Meanwhile, at the school, Fu Yingzi is still being persistently followed by Feng Zegui, whom she tells to leave her alone. Frustrated by his inability to compete with the wealthier Shen Yuan, she has a realization about Shen Yuan's immense net worth. She resolves to secure a place by his side, whether as a girlfriend or an employee, determined to prove her capabilities. In her hometown, Nana is met by her mother, who ushers her inside to talk. Her mother confesses that the story about her father's stroke was a ruse to lure her home for a blind date with a man named Dong Kidao. Her family lavishes praise on Kidao, highlighting his success as a business owner with a nice car and house. Kidao then presents Nana's aunt with an expensive gold gift. The mother is clearly impressed by his generosity. Nana pulls her mother aside, furious at the deception. While they argue, she texts Shen Yuan to update him, and he responds that he is already on his way and asks for her address. Shocked but pleased, she informs her mother that a friend is about to arrive. 15 minutes later, Shen Yuan appears at the door carrying an armful of expensive gifts. He confidently introduces himself to her family as Nana's boyfriend. Her parents are stunned, but her mother quickly recovers and welcomes him warmly. He clarifies that his generosity is not mere kindness but a gesture for his future family, as he and Nana are serious. When her mother inquires about the cost of the gifts, he casually mentions it was around 300,000. The entire family is left speechless by both the extravagant sum and his nonchalant attitude towards it. Kidao asks his aunt why Nana suddenly has a boyfriend, questioning what happened to her being single. The aunt tells him not to panic and admits she is also surprised by the timing of his arrival. The aunt agrees it seems suspicious and decides she will test his background. Introducing herself to Shen, she asks his age. They whisper that it must be an act, finding the age gap and his wealth unbelievable. Shen explains that while he is in college, he also has investments in finance and other industries. The aunt internally dismisses this as a bluff. Shen confidently claims they own 2 houses in Xingcheng, one in each of their names. The family again assumes he is lying, and the aunt advises him that honesty is crucial in a relationship, pointing out the immense cost of even one home in the area. The aunt and Kidao now believe he prepared elaborate fake documents. To dispel their doubts, Shen tells Nana he will transfer her 1 million yuan for decorations. Nana is taken aback, and a mobile notification immediately confirms the 1,000,000 yuan transfer. The family members stare at the phone in disbelief, counting the 6 zeros and finally realizing the transfer is legitimate. Kirao feels relieved he didn't confront Shen, awestruck by his wealth, while the aunt is stunned into silence. Shen casually dismisses the million as mere pocket change for her to spend. Defeated, Kirao considers trying to make a useful connection and asks Shen about the cost of his houses. The aunt is now thoroughly impressed, and Kirao bemoans the worthlessness of his own home in comparison. The aunt is now thoroughly impressed, and Kirao bemoans the worthlessness of his own home in comparison. Changing her tune completely, the aunt addresses Shen as President Shen and apologizes for her earlier bluntness. Shen graciously tells her they are all family now. At that moment, Nana's younger sister, Chen Xinyu, arrives home. Nana introduces Shen as her brother-in-law. At dinner, Shen toasts the parents, thanking them for raising Nana and surprising them further by offering to show them a new house and car meant for them after the meal. The father expresses that it's too expensive for them, but Xinyu tells him not to nitpick a heartfelt gift. The father expresses that it's too expensive for them, but Xinyu tells him not to nitpick a heartfelt gift. The mother worries the new 280 square meter house will be too empty, but Nana promises to visit more often. Later that night, Shen and Nana sit on the bed in his guest room, and he playfully asks if her parents would approve of them sharing a room. She blushes, confirming he has to stay in the guest room but promises to sneak over once her parents are asleep. At 11 p.m., Nana enters his room and he reveals he was waiting for her. He compliments her for not wearing anything under her nightgown as they embrace passionately on the bed. In the next room, Chen Xinyu is awoken by the sounds of their intimacy. She presses her ear to the wall, blushing as she listens, thinking her brother-in-law must be very strong. An hour and a half later, Nana returns to her sister's room, where Xinyu, still awake, asks to sleep while hugging her. The next day, Shen meets with Fu Yingzi at the university to review student entrepreneurship proposals. He finds the ideas, including a campus lingerie store, to be low quality and rejects them all. He reflects on his purpose, deciding he must build a real business empire rather than just chase favorability with women. He tells Yingzi they need to replan the entire project. She suggests expanding the applicant pool, and Shen instructs her to increase promotion across all school media channels. He also asks her to create a rigorous second-round exam to vet candidates properly. Shen feels a sense of power in directing a capable subordinate like Yingzi and resolves to recruit more talent. Elsewhere at a fitness center, manager Gong harasses his employee, Liu Minglu, about her leave request, which she points out was tied to his inappropriate demand for a lunch date. Fed up, she quits on the spot. Other staff members gossip, wondering how she'll make a living, until they see her leave in a Porsche 911, assuming she found a sugar daddy. In her car, Minglu texts Shen, telling him she lost her job. He replies that it's perfect, as she can now be his exclusive personal trainer. She asks about a reward, and he promises to give her a few dozen mini-goals during their training. That evening, Shen arrives at her executive suite, where she playfully bars the door, teasing him for being late. He plays along, pretending to leave, which makes her quickly relent and beg him to stay. She coquettishly asks if her attitude is sincere enough, and he agrees not to leave for the two of them. In bed, she calls him daddy and asks if he is going to punish her. He responds that he really likes being called that and will now turn up the intensity. After another hour, Minglu lies exhausted in bed, complaining that this isn't the gentleness he promised. He claims he was being gentle, using only half the strength he uses with Nana. Minglu internally scoffs, believing he used far more strength than that. It confirms he's lost 2 kilos and his health has dropped by 3 points in the last half month. Deciding he's too thin for his height, he tells Minglu they will start exercising the next morning. She teases him about only thinking of one thing, but he clarifies he means real exercise. She laughs, finally acknowledging he's skinny, and he playfully threatens her until she apologizes and calls him daddy again. He asks for a professional plan, and she agrees to create one after her shower. As he plans their workout at the Junyu's gym, a system notification activates a fitness panel and issues a time-limited mission to gain weight and lower his body fat percentage within a month for a physical upgrade. He sees the panel also has modules for business administration and other skills, realizing he can unlock them by completing missions. The next day, Minglu brings him a fitness lunch she prepared, and he compliments the meal. She asks him not to torment her again like he did the previous night, but he teases her, asking if she only felt tormented. They go to the gym, where other men stare admiringly at Minglu's physique. One man complains that a weakling like Shen doesn't deserve her. Hu Jun, seeing Shen with another woman, recognizes him from the mall and remarks on how much fun he has. After Shen struggles through a few reps, Minglu tells him it's a good start. He suggestively asks when they will eat the hot tofu, and she calls him hateful. A red-haired woman watches them, furious that she can't contact her friend, while Shen is enjoying himself with a new fling. Deciding to expose his behavior, she approaches and greets him. He asks what she wants, and she pointedly asks why the girl from the mall isn't with him, hoping to provoke Minglu's jealousy. When neither of them reacts, the woman is stunned. Shen tells Hu Jun to mind his own business and questions their supposed friendship. The woman persists, telling Minglu that Shen is playing her. Minglu calmly states that it's none of her business and she'd be happy with him regardless. When the woman brings up the expensive bags he bought the other girl, Minglu counters by revealing Shen bought her a car worth over 2 million. Defeated, the woman is told to leave. 2 hours later, their workout ends, and Minglu says they'll increase the intensity tomorrow. In the shower, Shen tells her there's another place he needs to get familiar with, and she calls him bad. He asks her to say daddy one more time, and she does. He asks her to say daddy one more time, and she does. The next day, a persistent man follows Fu Yingzi, refusing to leave her alone despite her requests. Shen and Yingzi are in an activity room with the blinds down when the man peers in, wondering what they're doing. Inside, Yingzi reports that their promotional campaign is getting attention, but they need more time for new business plans. Shen proposes a new wave of publicity, suggesting they create buzz by leaking hints about a student investing 10 million in the entrepreneurship base without revealing his identity. Yingzi agrees to execute the plan. Shen then bluntly asks what she wants from him. Flustered, she explains that as a marketing major from a private university, her job prospects are poor, and she hoped working for him would provide a better salary. He offers her a starting salary of 10,000 a month plus bonuses, declaring that she will work for him now. Just then, the man from outside begins knocking, and Yingzi gets up to deal with him. Shen stops her, saying they should solve the problem once and for all. He pulls her into an embrace and kisses her just as the man enters the room. Shen tells Yingzi they should hang a "no creeps allowed" sign on the door. The man is shocked, and Yingzi tells him she already has a boyfriend, asking him not to bother her again. Heartbroken, the man collapses to the floor as Shen and Yingzi walk away. Shen internally muses that money is unbeatable. After he leaves, he reflects that he needs to activate the knowledge modules to become a capable company runner. He decides to start with business management, unlocking a new panel and a task to master the key concepts of the subject within a month to gain MBA-level knowledge. Realizing his counselor, Miss Lin, has a degree in business management, he calls her and asks for a drink that night, but she is busy. He suggests tomorrow, and an hour later she arrives at his place, asking if she looks good. He tells her she always looks great and kisses her, noting that her affection level has risen to 93. He mentions helping her buy a house over the weekend, and she happily agrees. The next morning on campus, Miss Lin's friends gossip about the rumor of a student investing 10 million in the startup incubator. She struggles to keep Shen's secret, admitting it's uncomfortable to hold it in. Her friends express envy and ask if he needs another maid, but she deflects the question. In the library, 2 other students, Yuping and her friend, discuss the same rumor, dismissing it as unbelievable internet gossip. They reason that anyone that wealthy would be showing off, not staying low-key, and mock Shen as an example of someone with a little money who is already full of himself. Meanwhile, Shen calls Miss Lin again, this time asking her to tutor him in management fundamentals. She is suspicious, but agrees to meet him at her house after he promises not to try anything. At her apartment, she gives him her old textbook with key points marked. After an hour of studying, he stops and stares at her, saying she is more interesting than the book. He tells her he is serious about studying, but also wants her to be his girlfriend, insisting the 2 goals don't conflict. She tries to push him away as he embraces her, reminding him that her little sister is asleep in the other room. He replies that it's all the better, as they can let her know they are official now. He kisses her and she eventually gives in, even as she protests that men are pigs. A woman peeks into a room, her expression turning to one of shock at the scene before her. On the sofa, Shen Yuan is intimately embracing her sister, who looks flustered and embarrassed. The sister weakly protests that her little sister saw everything, but Shen Yuan nonchalantly replies that she would have found out eventually, prompting the sister to exclaim that he is wrong. She continues, expressing her frustration that she hasn't even agreed to be his girlfriend yet, and now she must figure out how to explain the situation to her sibling. Shen Yuan then directly asks the counselor if she likes him. She hesitates before admitting that she does, a little, but reminds him of their teacher-student relationship as a system notification reveals her affection level has risen to 71. Shen Yuan internally notes the small 2-point increase, concluding that material wealth won't sway her, and that winning her over will require time and sincerity. He tells her it is all right and that he will not give up. He then says his goodbyes for now, telling her he will see her next time as he prepares to leave. After he is gone, the counselor tells her sister that she can come out of the room. The younger sister cautiously emerges, asking if it is over while the counselor picks up a fallen object from the floor. The younger sister immediately asks if the counselor and Shen Yuan are officially a couple and if she should start calling him brother-in-law. The counselor denies that it is official. Her sister presses further, asking how they ended up in such a compromising position if they were not together. The counselor clarifies that they did not go all the way and admits that her mind is a mess. The younger sister astutely observes that her older sister is obviously falling for him and just has not realized it yet. The scene shifts to later that evening at a cafe, where a woman with blue hair, Miss Lin, approaches Shen Yuan's table. She apologizes for interrupting, explaining that she has been in a bad mood and needed someone to talk to. Shen Yuan assures her it is no bother and asks if she is all right, observing that she does not look very happy. Miss Lin confides in him, complaining that her partner, Tang Xianyang, is getting worse, staying out all night and returning home smelling of other women. She reasons that if he is going to be unfaithful, she is entitled to at least have a drink with someone else, adding that he would have no right to complain even if she did more, since he made his bed himself. She then shifts the topic, asking Shen Yuan if Chen Na is his girlfriend. He confirms that she sort of is. When Miss Lin asks if Chen Na is aware that he is out drinking with another woman, Shen Yuan replies that she is not, but that she would not mind even if she did know. Relieved, Miss Lin says she did not want to interfere in anyone's relationship, and then shyly asks if he would hug her just once. He simply gestures for her to come to him. She sits on his lap, and as they embrace, she asks him to please not mention the asshole she is with. She then surprises him by leaning in and kissing him deeply. Shen Yuan's internal monologue reveals a pang of guilt, as this is all happening in Na Na's cafe with another woman. He worries that he is becoming that kind of guy and tells himself not to overthink things, feeling that he cannot go through with it. Miss Lin senses his hesitation and asks if he is seriously going to ask her to behave now, before offering to help him relax. Shen Yuan casts his doubts aside, declaring that tonight he is going all in. In a dreamlike sequence, Miss Lin murmurs that this must be what heaven feels like. Half an hour passes and she softly asks him to help her clean up. Shen Yuan reflects that the saying about young men not appreciating mature women is wrong. He notes that it is unusual for a woman's affection level to increase after being intimate, which is what happened with her. A system notification then appears, congratulating him for achieving a milestone of 5 non-player characters with affection levels above 60. This unlocks a stage reward which includes 2 high-efficiency study cards, an exclusive skill pack exchange ticket, and 2 perfect life lucky draws. He is surprised that the system not only tracks affection levels but also the quantity of women who are interested in him. He examines his new items, noting that the study card will allow him to instantly memorize content from books, which will be useful for a time-limited task. The lucky draw offers a chance to win various rewards, including real-world items. He excitedly addresses the system as Daddy, hoping for a wild prize. Miss Lin notices his happy expression and remarks that she has never felt this happy before either. As she prepares to leave, she tells him she should be heading home. Before she goes, she asks if they will continue this next time, leaving Shen Yuan to wonder if she intends to make this a regular occurrence. Later, Shen Yuan reviews screenshots of online comments that Yingzi sent him. Deciding to put his startup project on hold, he opts to use his 2 lottery chances from the system. The first draw wins him a 500 square meter storefront in a luxurious complex. The second draw grants him 2 attribute points for his fitness stats. Being naturally slim, he decides to use the points to increase his weight. The system displays his fitness panel before applying the changes. After the modification, his physique is noticeably more muscular, having gained 5 kilograms. He is impressed with the results. He deduces that the system rewards both individual affection milestones and the total number of high affection NPCs, concluding he needs to continue expanding his network. In the days that follow, Shen Yuan divides his time between studying and working out. He also purchases a Maserati MC20 for Chen Na and a G63 for himself. At a university job fair, students buzz with rumors about a wealthy investor driving a G-Class who is backing a new startup. Meanwhile, a senior student is approached by a female peer who questions why he is at the job fair when his family already owns a company. He claims he is there to learn from other businesses. Another young woman asks if she could get an internship at his company, and he smoothly agrees to help her if she sends him her resume. Much to her delight, the senior then makes a general offer to all the junior students, inviting them to apply to his company as well. However, some onlookers are unimpressed, muttering that he is just there to show off and flirt. They begin to compare him to Shen Yuan, mocking the latter for only running a cafe and chasing older women, calling him clueless and lame. The senior invites a junior named Tan for dinner and she accepts. Their conversation is interrupted by the arrival of a G-Class vehicle on campus, a surprising sight as cars are normally banned. The crowd recognizes it as the G-Wagon belonging to the rumored student investor. Junior Tan immediately tells the senior that she is ditching their dinner date if she can get to know the driver of the G-Wagon. Just then, Shen Yuan calls out to his friends, Old Huang and Old Cow, offering them a ride back to their dorm. Junior Tan and the senior are stunned to realize that Shen Yuan is the driver. The narrative text emphasizes his dramatic arrival in the G-Wagon. While his friends are thrilled to see him, Junior Tan can only stare in disbelief, trying to convince herself that he must be just the driver. Shen Yuan's friends tell her to move so they can get in the car. As Shen Yuan drives off, the students who had been bad-mouthing him moments before now wonder if he would forgive them if they apologized. The news of Shen Yuan's wealth and his ownership of the G-Wagon quickly spreads across campus. In a dormitory, one female student declares that Shen Yuan is now her only goal. Her roommates agree, gushing over the fact that he is a young, handsome billionaire. One of them proudly announces she has found his WeChat and is determined to win him over. When reminded that she already has a boyfriend, another roommate retorts that she would dump her current partner in a heartbeat for a chance with Shen Yuan. Elsewhere, a young woman named Long Jinghan approaches sister Yingzi. Knowing that Yingzi is working with Shen Yuan on the startup, Jinghan asks for an introduction. Yingzi is suspicious of her sudden interest in entrepreneurship, reminding her that she should be focusing on the broadcasting club. Jinghan claims she is just trying to prepare for the tough job market. Yingzi, though skeptical, internally admits that Jinghan, who is known as Little Dragon Girl, would be a good match for Shen Yuan. She then chides herself for thinking like she is picking out concubines for him. Later, Shen Yuan lies in his dorm room, his phone buzzing incessantly with friend requests from female students. When his roommate asks about it, Shen Yuan dismisses it as kinda gross. The roommate misunderstands, asking if he is sick of all the attention from girls. Shen Yuan clarifies that the annoying part is that many of the friend requests are from guys. Another roommate complains that girls who cannot reach Shen Yuan have started messaging him instead. Shen Yuan advises them to just ignore it, prompting his roommate to lament his own single status in contrast to Shen Yuan's celebrity-like popularity. A system notification explains that he will earn a lucky draw for every 500 reputation points, which are gained through the admiration and respect of students and faculty. Shen Yuan reflects that the hype is meaningless without tangible results, and that he is only engaging with the attention to complete the system's task. His current reputation is 33. He decides to contact Fu Yingzi and sends her a message to meet him at the office. He then receives a call from Hui, who, having heard he is on campus, asks to see him. He tells her to wait for him at the school office, thinking that his newfound public status requires him to be more discreet about their association to avoid rumors. He tells his roommates he is heading out. As he leaves, one of his roommates wishes him well. Shen Yuan meets Hui, who runs to him and embraces him, telling him she missed him. He suggests they talk inside. Indoors, she remarks on his newfound fame, noting that his private information has even been leaked online. He asks if that is really true. He dismisses the gossip as boredom, but she playfully tells him that boys need to know how to protect themselves as she closes the window. He questions the gesture, and she responds by suggestively lifting her skirt, asking if he wants her to do things right here. He initially declines, stating he has a meeting, but then changes his mind and tells her to stand up. He embraces her from behind, asking if she likes it, to which she agrees. Outside, Fu Yingzi arrives for the meeting but stops when she hears suspicious sounds from within the office. Blushing, she concludes that it does not sound like a business meeting and thinks that her boss is not a normal person. She decides her new secretarial duty is to guard the door to ensure no one overhears them. An entire class period passes and she is still standing guard, her legs growing numb from waiting. Finally, Hui exits the office. Yingzi clears her throat, and Hui turns to her, stating confidently that she is sure Yingzi heard everything and warns her to back off because Shen Yuan is hers. After Hui leaves, Yingzi enters and asks Shen Yuan what he wanted to discuss. He compliments her on her recent work, noting that the hype around their project is building nicely. She gives him the credit for his leadership. He outlines their next steps, stating they need to filter the numerous applications for their startup incubator to find practical projects. When she asks for the filtering criteria, he explains that their school's main advantage is its attractive female students, and they should select candidates who reflect this new image. Yingzi is taken aback, wondering if he spent a fortune just to recruit pretty girls. She questions the appropriateness of what feels like openly selecting concubines. Shen Yuan justifies his approach by arguing that since they have so many applicants, they might as well choose those who are visually appealing. Yingzi agrees to follow his instructions, privately marveling at how he can frame such a request in a righteous manner. He then asks if she has prepared the second round evaluation test, which she confirms is ready. She realizes the test is merely a pretext to eliminate candidates without causing a scene. She then leans in and whispers, suggesting they could leak the answers to their preferred candidates. He praises her for her smart thinking. Yingzi has a brief moral crisis, comparing her actions to those of an ancient official procuring beauties for an emperor. However, she rationalizes her compliance by reminding herself of her substantial salary and the fact that the women are applying willingly. She then informs him that she is ready to present the first candidate. He asks for the candidate's age. Yingzi playfully suggests the candidate is around her own age, perhaps a bit older. Before he clarifies, he wants the actual age. She apologizes and reveals the candidate is a 19-year-old sophomore known on campus as Little Dragon Girl. Shen Yuan, ready to receive her contact information, jokes that this makes him the Dragon Rider. He instructs Yingzi to befriend the girl and send him her WeChat details, looking at a photo of the attractive young woman. Later, Shen Yuan receives a message from Miss Lin inviting him for a drink that night. He muses that he did not expect her to follow up on her next time suggestion so soon. He agrees to meet her at 9 p.m. Miss Lin is ecstatic upon receiving his instant reply, still basking in the glow of their previous encounter, which reminded her of the thrill of first love. While waiting in his car, Shen Yuan is approached by two young women. They ask for a ride, but he politely declines, saying he is waiting for someone and lacks the space. When they ask to add him on WeChat, he claims his contact list is full. Nearby, two male students observe the interaction with envy, commenting on the power of wealth. One of them remarks that he would gladly pledge his loyalty for that kind of financial freedom. At 9 p.m., Shen Yuan meets with Miss Lin. She tells him she wants to ask him something serious. Does he believe in love? He gives a non-committal answer. He explains that while he believed in his first love during high school, he has never been able to recapture that feeling with anyone since, always sensing that something was missing. His phone rings, interrupting their conversation. He answers and arranges for an air conditioner repair technician to visit the next day. After the call, Miss Lin asks if his air conditioner is broken. He confirms it is and then surprises her by saying she did not need to call for a repair, as he is quite handy with such things himself. He then accesses the system to redeem his last skill pack card. He chooses basic appliance repair, and the system confirms he now possesses the knowledge to fix various household items. He feels a new nimbleness in his hands. He confidently tells Miss Lin he can fix her AC, asking if her husband is home. She confirms he is not, feeling a little hesitant about bringing Shen Yuan to her apartment, even for a simple repair. At her home, he quickly diagnoses the problem as a buildup of dust. While he works, Miss Lin begins to doubt her own allure, as he seems genuinely focused only on the repair. She decides to take a shower, and when she emerges 15 minutes later, she is greeted by a blast of cold air. The AC is fixed. She thanks him profusely, saying she does not know how to repay him. He simply tells her to come with him. He leads her to the bedroom, and when she expresses concern about her husband returning, he dismisses her fears with a simple no. She asks why not as they tumble onto the bed. He tells her that from now on, he will be the one to fix anything that breaks in her house, including her heart and her body. She rationalizes the intimacy as payment for the repair, reflecting that being with Shen Yuan feels complete in a way that being with her weak husband never did. Unbeknownst to them, her husband, Zheng Xianyang, stumbles drunkenly towards the apartment door, muttering about her high-end mighty attitude. As he unlocks the door, the sound alerts Shen Yuan and Miss Lin, who freeze in panic, realizing he has come home unexpectedly. Miss Lin is terrified of being discovered, but Shen Yuan remains calm and gets up to lock the bedroom door. Zheng Xianyang enters the apartment, complaining about the running AC, and then finds the bedroom door locked. Inside, Shen Yuan and Miss Lin continue their affair in hushed silence. Outside, Zheng Xianyang gives up trying to open the door and collapses on the couch, looking forward to a night at the bar tomorrow. In the bedroom, Miss Lin urges Shen Yuan to be quiet, but he reassures her that her husband is asleep and the added risk makes it more thrilling. The husband's loud snoring fills the apartment and Shen Yuan moves in rhythm with it. Miss Lin struggles to remain silent, overwhelmed by the intense and unbeatable feeling. The next morning, Zheng Xianyang wakes with a hangover and is shocked to find his wife making breakfast, a first in 2 years. He smugly thinks to himself that this is the ideal life. His suspicions are aroused by her unusually pleasant demeanor, and he inspects the bedroom for any signs of infidelity but finds nothing. He even checks the trash bin, which is clean. At the breakfast table, he mentions hearing strange banging noises in his sleep, but she dismisses it as his imagination. When he notices the AC is working, she casually explains that she had someone fix it. As she pours milk, she privately thinks that the repairman fixed not just the AC but her heart as well. Meanwhile, at the cafe, Lai Ying finds her best friend Zhu Wanting looking distraught. Wanting is devastated because her ex-boyfriend, Shen Yuan, is now incredibly wealthy, and she feels like she is dying. She recounts his lavish spending on other women, a 3 million yuan house and a 2 million yuan Porsche. She shows Lai Ying proof on her phone, explaining her personal trainer was the recipient of the car. Wanting is consumed by regret, believing she was a fool to have dumped him and that his fortune should have been hers. Lai Ying tries to comfort her, suggesting she move on and find someone new. Wanting scoffs at the idea, declaring that she will not settle for anyone worth less than 10 million now and that she is determined to get back together with Shen Yuan. She complains that he has blocked her on all platforms, but she refuses to lower her standards, tormented by the thought of his money being spent on other women. In a fit of desperation, she grabs Lai Ying and insists they go find him immediately. A final text overlay from Lai Ying shows her frantically asking for the number of a mental hospital for her friend. At the Zhenyu Hotel, Coach Liu asks a towel-clad Shen Yuan why he is spacing out while looking at the river view. She remarks that his fitness progress is strange, as his scientifically designed plans are yielding results in weight and muscle gain far beyond what she expected, much faster than normal people. Shen Yuan cryptically replies that he is not like other people. A system panel appears, displaying his stats including height, health, BMI, body fat, and showing his immunity at 70 and brain activity at 71. He internally reflects that regular exercise has improved these stats and that this fitness task should become a habit. He plans to use his startup to improve public health once it stabilizes, building influence while making money. He then tells Coach Liu that she does not need to wait for him tonight as he has other plans, and she agrees to wait for his call. Driving his car, Shen Yuan thinks about Hui, feeling that she was one of the first women to be with him and that he owes her more than just a couple of bags and a vague promise, especially since Nana and Lulu received houses and cars. Meanwhile, at a restaurant, a young woman named Minhui is having a meal with her cousin, Song Huan, and her cousin-in-law, Zhang Zhen. Zhang Zhen asks Minhui about the career path for her international trade major, reminding her that as a junior, it is time to think about internships. Minhui replies that she has not thought much about it yet. Zhang Zhen advises her to prepare early as her university is not top tier. Song Huan asks if she has a boyfriend, suggesting she could connect with a cousin who is interning at a Fortune 500 company. Minhui reveals she already has a boyfriend, a classmate she has been with for a month, but she has not told her family yet. Zhang Zhen warns her that dating is not a game and choosing the wrong person could make her life difficult after graduation. He expresses his concern that her boyfriend might not be good enough for her, causing her to suffer. Minhui internally scoffs at their worries, thinking their definition of success is nothing compared to her Shen Yuan, and tells them not to worry about her. She then announces that she needs to leave early. When they ask about her plans, she proudly states that her boyfriend is taking her to buy a house. Her relatives are shocked, questioning the boyfriend's family background and the sanity of buying a house for a girlfriend before marriage. Just then, Shen Yuan arrives, calling out to Hui Bao and asking if she is ready to go. She introduces him to her cousin and cousin-in-law. Shen Yuan politely declines their invitation to lunch, stating he had already promised Hui to go house shopping and offers to treat them next time. As they leave, Zhang Zhen is left in stunned silence, feeling embarrassed for having tried to set her up with his cousin when her boyfriend drives a car worth 3 million yuan. Later, Shen Yuan presents a beaming Hui with the deed to a fully furnished 166 square meter apartment, paid in full. Hui is speechless with joy. Shen Yuan internally notes that the purchase earned him a 6.04 million rebate, bringing his liquid assets to 31.79 million. He playfully teases her, suggesting he find a Japanese movie to teach her what to say. She blushes and tells him to stop it. He sees that her favorability has risen to 93 and resolves to push it further that night. Meanwhile, a young woman lies in her bed looking at her phone. She is frustrated that Shen Yuan accepted her friend request, but has not replied to her messages, sighing that she has become the kind of person who begs for attention. In another part of the dorm, girls advise each other that chasing a billionaire like Shen Yuan is useless, and that they should focus on their studies instead. The first girl, however, is seen climbing down from her bunk bed, determined to draft a business plan. That evening in their new apartment, Shen Yuan asks Hui about her future. She wonders if she should apply to his business incubator. He tells her that while that is an option, he has other ventures for her, which she greets with a cheer. He internally reflects that her possessive nature would make it difficult for him to operate freely on campus if she were always around. He then teases her by listing the names of several Japanese actresses, asking which teacher she wants to learn from. She blushes and says she will just close her eyes and pick one randomly. 20 minutes later, they are in bed, and she murmurs that this feels right, asking if he likes it. She proudly says she did not expect to learn so quickly and that now he will want to be with her even more. The next morning, Shen Yuan is woken by a frantic phone call. It is his friend, Lai Yuheng, who urgently tells him that there is no time to chat and that he has sent a location he needs to get to immediately. Shen Yuan is awakened by a call from Fu Zhengmei, who is concerned about Su Zuwei. Zhengmei explains that Shen Yuan's transfer of 50,000 yuan has placed a heavy psychological burden on Zuwei, who tried to return the money. Zhengmei insists that Zuwei is not a gold digger and that Shen Yuan must take the money back. He questions if this is the only reason for her call, and she advises that if he truly wants to pursue Zuwei, he will need to put in more effort. Shen Yuan claims the money had no special meaning and agrees to accept the payment, receiving a notification for 200 yuan. He correctly guesses the extra 200 is for the gifts he brought her family, then asks if Mr. Wen has been making Zuwei accompany clients for drinks, but Zhengmei assures him her only job is supervising his construction site. After he leaves, Zhengmei muses that while a relationship with Shen Yuan would be beneficial for Zuwei's family, her apprentice's stubborn principles mean she won't easily fall for someone. Later, Shen Yuan receives a call from Miss Lin, who invites him for drinks. He suggests they meet at her place instead, cheekily remarking that the possibility of her husband's return would make it more exciting. At 6 p.m., she serves him a specially prepared pork kidney and Yukamiya bark soup. He appreciates the gesture, and after dinner, she reveals that she has decided to divorce her husband to pursue her own happiness, a decision she credits to Shen Yuan's appearance in her life. He congratulates her, and her favorability score rises. As he leaves, a neighbor recognizes his Jiweijin and identifies him as Chen Na's sugar daddy, wondering what he is doing there. Back inside, Miss Lin's husband, Zheng Xianyang, arrives and complains about the heat, finding it strange that she is using a fan instead of the air conditioner. She claims it's not hot, privately worried about Shen Yuan's scent lingering in the room. After her husband goes to shower, she locks the bedroom door. He finds it locked and, assuming she has fallen asleep, decides to save his energy for another woman the next day. Meanwhile, at the startup hub's final selection, a group of the university's most beautiful and popular female students are gathered, including the cosplayer Aisha and the flight attendant student Yan. Yan Song, the class president from Shen Yuan's class, feels utterly out of place and realizes he has been selected as a token male for what is essentially Shen Yuan's personal harem selection. At the interviews, Shen Yuan praises the two male candidates, Yan Song and Mo Zhenwang, for their practical business proposals for a fruit shop and a fried food shop, noting the strategic location of the provided storefront beneath the girls' dormitory. Mo Zhenwang, an experienced internet water army leader, cynically believes they are just a smokescreen for the otherwise all-female venture, but plays along for the investment. After dismissing them, Shen Yuan is impressed with the quality of female candidates his secretary has selected. 2 hours later, Long Jinghen, Little Dragon Maiden, returns to the office after the interviews have concluded. She asks Shen Yuan if she has been rejected, worried that he barely looked at her during the interview. He tells her the final list depends on an exam, but she asks if she still has a chance. Recognizing her opportunity, she pitches herself as a multi-certified accountant who can handle all the financial work for the hub. When he questions why he wouldn't just hire an experienced older accountant, she confidently argues that she is prettier and has a better figure. Shen Yuan agrees that pretty accountants are rare, and she leans in to kiss him. 40 minutes later, he tells her to be his woman, surprised to learn she is a virgin. He promises to take her shopping, and her favorability meter appears at 61. As she leaves, she tells her senior Yingzi that she feels happier than ever. The next day is Shen Yuan's father's birthday. After checking on the Maybach he ordered as a gift and arranging for gold jewelry for his mother, he surprises his family with the new car. His younger sister, Shen Xuan, immediately asks for a car of her own. At the hotel, their relatives gossip maliciously, complaining about being made to wait and recalling the family's bankruptcy with scorn. They plan to give Shen Yuan's father a hard time, with the third uncle leading the charge. When the family arrives, the father apologizes and offers to drink 3 penalty shots. The third uncle makes a snide remark about them not having a car anymore, but Shen Yuan retorts sarcastically. The third uncle then accidentally drops his new BMW X7 keys, showing off his million-yuan car and lecturing Shen Yuan's father on business. Just as he is basking in the glory, Shen Yuan's mother casually asks her husband when he will stop hiding his own new Maybach. The relatives are stunned into silence. They scoff when the father claims his son bought it for him, revealing the price was 3 million. Their disbelief is shattered when a staff member asks the owner of a silver Jiweijin to move it, and Shen Yuan stands up to do so, leaving the entire room in shock. After the dinner party ends in a tense atmosphere, Shen Xuan praises her brother's coolness. He reveals that the Jiweijin, which cost 2.73 million, actually belongs to her sister-in-law, whom he bought it for. They arrive at Nana's apartment, where Coach Liu and Nana warmly greet Shen Xuan, fawning over her and offering her drinks and snacks. Bewildered by their affection, Shen Xuan asks her brother which one is her actual sister-in-law. Before he can answer, Liu Minglu arrives and is also introduced. When Shen Yuan correctly identifies Nana as her sister-in-law, Shen Yuan mischievously informs her that the other two are her sisters-in-law as well. Shen Yuan is floored by the revelation but is quickly swept up by the three women, who bond with her and plan a shopping trip. After the girls leave, Shen Yuan stays behind to rest. Nana returns, claiming she forgot her purse but then texts the others to go on without her. Shen Yuan opens his eyes to find Coach Liu on top of him, revealing she stayed behind to keep him company. After an intimate session where she calls him a daddy, Shen Yuan's sister calls to say they are done shopping. As he arrives to meet them, a man recognizes his car and then recognizes Shen Yuan as the same young man who had cashed out all his credit to buy a luxury bag months prior. The man is baffled by his sudden wealth and concludes that Shen Yuan must have found a rich older woman to get everything he wants. Back home, Shen Yuan explains the lavish gifts by telling her parents that her sister-in-law bought them, successfully navigating their questions. That night at the cafe, Shen Yuan tells Nana he is sleeping over. She reveals she has learned a new trick involving ice cubes and hot water that she wants to try, ensuring he won't get any sleep. The next day, they pick up Nana's younger sister, Xinyu, who is starting college in Star City. In the car, Xinyu learns there is a room for her at Nana's house, and her heart flutters at the thought of being near Shen Yuan again. A favorability meter appears over her head at 60. Later, Shen Yuan waits in his car outside Lai Meng's apartment and spots her ex-boyfriend pestering her again. Deciding to intervene for both Lai Meng's sake and to score points with the counselor, he honks his horn and confronts the ex for blocking his car. The ex recognizes him as Lai Meng's new sugar daddy and taunts him, claiming Lai Meng will never forget him and their relationship is doomed. Shen Yuan coolly retorts that he is a very content person and that just having her body is enough. The ex is stunned into silence, asking if they have already been intimate. Shen Yuan steps out of his car and is immediately confronted by Lai Meng's ex-boyfriend, Lu Bin, who laments that Shen Yuan has succeeded where he failed after years of trying. As the counselor and her sister, Lai Meng, appear, Lu Bin confronts the sister, but she coldly tells him to leave and never return. As she and Shen Yuan get into his car, Lu Bin questions their relationship, and Shen Yuan flippantly remarks that he hasn't heard of a man having both sisters. This enrages Lu Bin, who is left fuming at the perceived injustice of the rich. Inside the car, the counselor chides Shen Yuan for his insensitive comment, but he explains he was just trying to get rid of the guy to protect her feelings. She admits his tactic will likely work. Shen Yuan then suggests they go shopping at IFC Mall, but she objects, citing the expense and her reluctance to spend his money. He counters by saying he needs her help picking out a birthday gift for his sister, and she agrees on the condition that he doesn't buy her anything. At the mall, a sales associate suggests she try on a dress. While she is in the fitting room, she finds her zipper is stuck and calls out to Shen Yuan for help. He enters the fitting room, and after a moment of playful teasing where he asks whether to call her teacher or counselor, she tells him to just use her name, Lai Zio, on dates. He whispers her name, savoring the intimacy of the moment as he leans in close. 5 minutes later, the zipper is still stuck, and he finds that the medium size is also too small for her ample chest. Flustered, she tells him to get out. As they leave the store, he teases her, promising to behave next time, and is pleased to see her favorability has risen to 75. As they walk through the mall, two saleswomen recognize Shen Yuan, gossiping about his string of girlfriends. Later, at a hot pot restaurant, Shen Yuan deliberately orders iced soup, knowing Lai Zio will object, creating an opportunity for him to appear considerate when he changes the order for her. During their meal, she asks about his plans for the summer, and he replies that his plan is to spend it with her. When the topic shifts to the startup base, he quickly changes the subject, asking for her human resource management textbook, which he arranges to pick up from her place that night, despite her sister being home. His forwardness makes her blush. The next day, he receives a message from Long Jinghan, Little Dragon Maiden, asking him what he is doing and saying she misses him. He arranges to pick her up after dinner, choosing MS Cafe as their meeting spot. An hour later, he takes her to a hotel. She is distressed by his rough treatment, feeling like a tool being used, and wishes there were real feelings between them. He tears her clothes and she cries out, pleading with him to be gentler. He later explains he was just trying some role play, the domineering guy and obedient girl type. When she worries about her torn clothes, he nonchalantly tells her he will have new ones sent over. She is given a selection of new high-end clothes and bags to choose from, a surreal experience that leaves her with a strange sense of achievement, believing she must be one of the few women to have actually slept with him. While in bed, she overhears him on the phone with Huey, being attentive and affectionate, and wonders if she will ever receive such treatment. The next morning, Shen Yuan has already left for the gym. The clothes and bags he ordered have arrived, but holding them, she realizes she cares more about his heart than material possessions. Later, at the gym, Coach Liu worries he is overtraining, but he insists on increasing the intensity of his workouts and tweaking his meal plan, frustrated by his slow progress. After their session in the shower, she playfully compliments his looks and asks what he wants from her, leading to another intimate moment. At the project signing ceremony for the entrepreneurship base, the counselor, Lai Zio, is teased by a colleague about her handsome and wealthy student, Shen Yuan, and she blushes at the suggestion that she has fallen for him. Shen Yuan formally presents a 10 million yuan investment to the university principal. The principal, eager to leverage Shen Yuan's influence, instructs his staff to heavily promote him as a model student, despite his poor academic record. After the ceremony, an intern reporter from Xingcheng TV, Zhan Yani, invites him to participate in a special on outstanding university students. Seeing his counselor nearby, he quickly takes the reporter's contact information and dismisses her to avoid any misunderstandings. He then meets with the shortlisted student entrepreneurs, including Lu Xinyu, a senior from the Japanese department. She presents her plan for a campus supermarket chain, and he is impressed by her thorough research and bold ideas. Noting her fluency in Japanese, he sees her as a potential bridge for future business expansion into Japan. His roommates, who were not selected for the project, lament their fate, realizing that the selection was biased towards attractive female students. Back in the office, Shen Yuan asks Lu Xinyu to say something in Japanese. She complies with a simple hello and thank you, but he asks for something more interesting. Understanding his implication, she shyly utters a phrase from an adult movie, which excites him immensely. They then sign the contract. A system notification informs him that he has completed the 10 million yuan investment and a reward is being issued. 100% ownership of Jingfu Health Management Co., Limited. Just then he gets another text from Hui. He arranges to meet her at the cafe. There he finds two girls from his university trying to get his attention, but he bluntly rejects their advances. He then focuses on his new health industry venture, noting that with Coach Liu's expertise, getting started should be easy. At the cafe, his sister-in-law Xinyu nervously takes his order for a cappuccino, while another employee, Zio Q, is flustered by the complicated relationships of their boss. That evening, he is with Hui, who expresses how much she missed him. The next day at Jingfu Health, the employees are anxious about the change in ownership. The new boss, Shen Yuan, arrives and holds a brief handover meeting, keeping only the HR director and CFO for a private discussion. He then calls his little secretary, Yingzi, and instructs her to start working at Jingfu Health the next day, promoting her from her role at the startup base. While reviewing the company's financials, he receives a call from Fu Zhengmei, who tells him there is a family emergency at Su Zuwei's home. He rushes over to find a chaotic scene. A neighbor, Zheng Lianfeng, is arguing with Zuwei and her mother over a water leak, refusing to apologize for scolding Zuwei's younger brother. Shen Yuan intervenes, demanding an apology for the child. Zheng Lianfeng's son then steps in, confronting Shen Yuan and escalating the conflict before Shen Yuan swiftly punches him to the ground. As the confrontation escalates, the man who was punched to the ground threatens Shen Yuan, saying he is calling for backup and telling him to wait. Shen Yuan calmly agrees and makes a call of his own. 15 minutes later, a group of men arrives led by a man called Brother Long, ready for a fight. However, just as they are about to confront Shen Yuan, the police arrive led by Shen Yuan's cousin, Deputy Security Chief Shen Wai. The gangster Lai Wenlong is shocked to see the police and quickly tries to downplay his involvement. After Shen Yuan explains the situation to his cousin, Shen Wai mediates the dispute. He gets the neighbor, Zheng Lianfeng, to apologize to Zuwei's younger brother, Zhao Jai, for her harsh words. As the neighbors disperse, Shen Wai teases his cousin about playing the hero for his girlfriend. Shen Yuan clarifies that she is not his girlfriend yet and asks him to keep it a secret. Zuwei then shyly thanks Shen Yuan, her favorability meter appearing at 61. He playfully asks how she plans to thank him and pulls her into a hug, which she initially resists due to the onlookers. Their moment is interrupted by Zhao Jie, who brings them a basket of eggs from his mother. Shen Yuan instructs the boy to call him brother-in-law from now on, much to Zuwei's embarrassment and Zhao Jie's confusion. Later, Shen Yuan offers to help Zuwei's family move to a new apartment closer to her company, even offering to cover the rent. She declines, but he has already made up his mind. That evening, Shen Xuan complains to her brother about being hungry. He tells her to eat first in the future, but she explains that their sis-in-law and Xinyu were waiting for him. He teases her about being embarrassed, questioning why she is still freeloading at their place. When Shen Xuan asks about bringing his girlfriend and Coach Liu home to meet their parents, he deflects, asking for her help in gently introducing the idea of his modern relationships to their parents. At 12:30 a.m., Shen Yuan is startled by Xinyu in the bathroom. He apologizes for startling her, but the brief, accidental encounter leaves him flustered and Xinyu secretly thrilled. The next day at the gym, his fitness mission is complete, with his weight near 75 kg and his body fat down to 15.3%. He tells Coach Liu about his progress and asks her to scout out competing gyms and a yoga studio. She is shocked when he reveals he has already purchased them, a fact confirmed by a new system mission to increase the net profit of Jingfu Health by 5% within 3 months. That evening at his newly acquired company, Jingfu Health, Shen Yuan meets with the general manager of the underperforming medical checkup center, Jia Nanshu. Jia Nanshu makes excuses for the center's poor performance, but Shen Yuan is unimpressed, noting the man's slick demeanor and signs of nepotism within the company. He decides Jia Nanshu must be replaced and summons his secretary Yingzi to his office. He checks in on her progress and, as a reward for her hard work, promises her a 200,000 yuan car after 2 months. He then puts her off when she asks about the other female entrepreneurs, telling her that some things must be taken one step at a time. A red-haired woman named Weiwei informs her mother that they should move out in a few days. Her mother asks where to, and Weiwei admits she doesn't know yet, only that Shen Yuan said he has already found a place for them. Her mother, concerned, asks if she has really thought it through, warning that once they move, there is no going back. Weiwei confirms she has, confessing to her mother that she thinks she might kind of like him. The next day, someone asks about the health check partnership's progress. An assistant informs a shirtless Shen Yuan, who is just waking up, that the appointment with Principal Zhu is today at 10 a.m. in his office and it had been arranged yesterday. Shen Yuan, looking at a clock that reads 9 a.m., thinks to himself that the lazy Jia will soon be fired. By 10 a.m., Shen Yuan arrives at a meeting where a man invites him to sit down. Principal Zhu is surprised to see Shen Yuan, asking why he is there. Yu Jiafeng, the marketing manager, also expresses his surprise at Mr. Shen's presence, noting that he hadn't mentioned he would be coming to the first meeting. Another man internally panics, realizing the whole presentation was prepared by Yu Jiafeng and he hasn't even looked at the proposal. Shen Yuan casually tells them to go ahead and talk, claiming he just happened to be nearby and wanted to see Principal Zhu, settling in as a silent observer while the serious negotiations begin. He internally notes that he came specifically to observe Jia Nanshu's work and now sees clearly that he is a guy who just dumps business on others, reinforcing his decision to find a replacement soon. Shen Yuan excuses himself, telling Principal Zhu to please continue as he leaves them to it. One of the men sighs in relief that the inspector is finally gone. Shen Yuan contemplates that Yu Jiafeng seems capable and could potentially replace Jia Nanshu, but he needs to investigate his full background first, wary that they might be in the same gang. He decides to head to Jingfu Company next, as he has more to do. An hour later, at Jingfu Company, he criticizes manager Cheng, asking why their online marketing is so weak and the videos on TikTok are terrible. Cheng Ru, the operations department manager, explains that good promotional videos usually feature attractive female trainers, but hiring such models costs too much and they lack the budget. Shen Yuan questions why they can't use their own gym trainers in the videos. The manager explains that some trainers don't want to be on camera while others don't want to film, and since online clients are distributed evenly, those who are filmed feel it is unfair. Shen Yuan asks if they didn't analyze this issue earlier, and the general manager Sun, explains that profits have been fine due to good walk-in traffic, so the issue has been ignored. Shen Yuan then confronts the general manager directly, listing the fitness center's problems: low online traffic, poor in-store service, weak staff discipline, and messy follow-ups, and asks for his opinion. The manager stammers, unable to answer, as Shen Yuan asks if he is wrong. The manager agrees that he is right. Shen Yuan, tapping his finger on the desk, gives him an ultimatum, telling him to draft some improvement measures and report to him by tomorrow. A flustered manager Sun agrees. Later, manager Sun reflects that he thought the new boss's first move would be to target Jia's health center, not his own fitness center, which is the best in both scale and profit. He reasons that being asked for improvement plans means there is still a chance to redeem themselves. Shen Yuan spends the day studying reports, concluding that the gym has the fewest issues and that if they fix the key points, profits will rise. He acknowledges it will mean more work for the staff, but doubts anyone will complain since commissions will keep them happy with money. When he arrives home, he is greeted by a young woman named Xinyu, who he recognizes as his brother-in-law. He asks why she is there and where her sister is. Xinyu explains that the cafe is busy, so her sister is working and sent her home early to cook, fearing he would be hungry. Shen Yuan asks when her sister will be back, and Xinyu replies that she won't be back anytime soon and texted not to wait for her for dinner. At the dinner table, Shen Yuan is impressed by the large meal and asks if she made it all herself. Xinyu confirms she did, but worries it might not taste as good as her sister's cooking. Shen Yuan reassures her that he'll enjoy anything made by the two sisters. Xinyu blushes as she watches him eat, fiddling with her chopsticks. Shen Yuan corrects himself, clarifying that he likes the food both of them make. He compliments Xinyu, telling her the food tastes pretty good. She shyly reveals that she made these specific dishes because she noticed he seemed to like them the most. As their eyes meet across the table, Xinyu blushes deeply and calls out to her brother-in-law. She gets up and excuses herself to the bathroom for a moment. In the kitchen, she washes her hands, flustered. In the bathroom, she looks at her reflection, blushing. When she comes out, she tentatively asks if she could start calling him Shen Yuan instead. She immediately berates herself internally, thinking she almost said what she really wanted to and that those words must never come out. She despairs, thinking that her brother-in-law only has eyes for her sister and there's no way he would ever like her. After she returns from the bathroom, she needs to explain herself to her brother-in-law, fearing something bad might happen if she doesn't. She starts to explain that she didn't mean it that way, but Shen Yuan cuts her off, saying he knows and that it's okay. Xinyu is crestfallen, thinking that he doesn't seem to care at all and that he really doesn't like her, as she looks down with a shattered expression. Shen Yuan looks at her dejected form and says, "Oh." Internally, he finds the thoughts of 17-18-year-old girls hard to read, wondering why she is getting upset when she was the one who wanted to explain and he said he didn't mind. Deciding his earlier answer made her unhappy, he chooses to rephrase his thoughts. He tells Xinyu that everyone has the right to choose freely and she shouldn't be restricted by society's rules. Xinyu realizes her brother-in-law knows how she feels and wasn't rejecting her with his words. 3 seconds later, she internally frets that he spoke vaguely and didn't give a clear yes or no. As she approaches him again, trying to think of what to say, a woman named Nana arrives, asking if Shen Yuan and Xinyu have eaten yet. Xinyu quickly tells her sister that they ate and offers to heat up the dishes for her. Nana, who is her sister, tells Shen Yuan that the cafe business is getting better and better and thanks him for the wonderful conditions he's provided, saying she is so happy she doesn't feel tired at all and just wants to work even harder. She embraces him gratefully. Xinyu watches them with a slight feeling of sourness in her heart. The next day, a woman reports to Shen Yuan that she has visited the other 2 stores and will detail the problems she noticed. She explains that the yoga studio provides good service but has few members, which is an issue with attracting customers, and the other gym has similar problems, but they are all small issues that depend on whether the managers want to fix them. Shen Yuan commends her for a job well done, saying she deserves a reward and suggests they go on a date that afternoon. He adds that she must also give him a plan for solving the problems that night, and she agrees. They are shown shopping for clothes and bags before going to a movie and dinner, with the total cost being 230,000, which results in a net profit of 460,000 for him after a triple cashback reward. The woman, Coach Liu, thinks to herself that today might be the happiest day of her whole life. Shen Yuan notes that her affection level has reached 93, bringing her close to breaking 100, which he finds exciting. He tells the silly girl that their days together have only just begun. She hums an agreement as they kiss in a park illuminated by lights. The next day, the general manager of Jingfu Company Fitness Center, Sun Zhen, presents his improvement measures for review. Shen Yuan tells him to sit and give a brief summary. Sun Zhen outlines his plan, which involves fining staff for delays at reception and performance deductions for missed follow-ups. Shen Yuan interrupts, pointing out that the plan is all punishments with no rewards. He explains that rewards should be the main tool, with punishments as support because the key is motivation, not pressure. He tells Sun Zhen that he wants a detailed policy on customer acquisition, including adjusted traffic distribution rules to encourage uncooperative coaches, by tomorrow afternoon. Sun Zhen agrees, understanding Mr. Shen's farsightedness. Shen Yuan concludes by stating that the goal is to improve efficiency and increase profit, and the company cannot support idle workers. A terrified Sun Zhen leaves the office, understanding what he needs to do. He reflects that the new boss is extremely capable and forceful. A woman watching him leave thinks that Shen Yuan has scared him stiff. She muses that she has yet to see Shen Yuan's terrifying side and hopes she never does. Later, she tells Shen Yuan she has some insider gossip for him. She informs him that the real person coordinating with the school is Yu Jiafeng, who used to handle marketing and business expansion. However, Jiananshu never let him take on big projects, so he's been suppressed for over 2 years. She reveals she checked his background and found he was a deputy GM at another medical center until his wife cheated with his old boss, whom he beat up, forcing him to resign. Shen Yuan, impressed, teases his little secretary, saying she's good for even digging up gossip like this. He leans in close and playfully asks his capable little secretary if she has a boyfriend. She blushes, taken aback by the question. Internally, she wonders why he is asking, as he already has so many women, and questions if he's tired of the big ones and wants to try her little eye, while a thought bubble appears with the phrase, "If there's work, the secretary does it. If there's no work, do the secretary." The secretary internally dismisses the idea of a relationship, thinking it's better to remain the hardworking little bee by his side. Shen Yuan instructs her to approve the startup funds for Yan Song, Mo Zhenwang, and Lu Xinyu, and she agrees. Later, Shen Yuan looks at his phone, seeing suggestive photos posted by Sister Lin, lamenting that she's messing with his mental state. He messages her and they arrange to meet at a hotel, with him promising to fix the AC. 1 hour later at the hotel, a man named Zheng Xianrong sees an attractive woman with an insane waist-hip ratio at the elevator, but can't see her face because of a mask. He thinks her figure looks a bit like his wife's and decides to call home to confirm after checking in a customer. Inside a hotel room, Shen Yuan surprises the woman, Sister Lin, who is sneaking around like a thief. She complains about the risk she's taking. He asks if it wouldn't be better if her husband found out, but she insists it's not time yet and goes to change. 5 minutes later, she emerges in black lingerie and tells him to turn around. She asks if he knows it's this exact outfit that keeps him from focusing on work, and he asks, so what? He tells her she has to compensate him, and when she asks how, he commands her to kneel. As they are in bed, her phone rings. It's Zheng Xianrong calling. She answers, pretending to be at home. She tells her husband she is making dumplings. After the call, she tells Shen Yuan she must leave, as her husband will definitely come home to check on her. He tells her to go, saying they just have to endure this period. An hour later, her husband is home, asking why she's making dumplings. She says she just felt like it, and he explains he came back from meeting a client to eat them fresh. In his car, Shen Yuan decides to postpone his meeting with Yu Jiefeng and messages his counselor, Lai Zio, asking when she will be home for some special tutoring. She replies it will be at least 5 hours, and he confesses he misses her. At her office, another woman teases Lai Zio about being in a relationship, but she denies it. The friend continues to playfully accuse her of having a forbidden romance with a student. Shen Yuan arrives at their apartment and is let in by Lai Meng. He goes to the bedroom to get some books and wonders why Lai Meng is blushing. As he is about to leave, she stops him and asks him to do it with her just once. He is so shocked he drops the book he is holding. She tells him not to overthink it, that it's purely to relieve certain needs, and she won't tell her sister. He asks why, and she says there is no why, just yes or no. He refuses, stating he won't do it without an emotional foundation. She scoffs, calling him a pretender and asking if he can really control himself. He pushes her away, asking if she has thought about her sister's feelings, and declares he is the man she can never have before leaving. He leaves her apartment, annoyed at her for testing him. Later, Shen Yuan picks up Lai Zio from work. In the car, she playfully calls him a pervert. He laughs and asks if he passed the test perfectly, but she is confused about what test he means. He realizes Lai Zio didn't know about Lai Meng's actions, meaning her sister was serious, and he smiles to himself at the prospect of another pair of sisters. When they arrive home, Lai Meng is surprised to see them together. Shen Yuan internally compares the sisters' physical attributes. Lai Meng retreats to her bedroom to not disturb them. Shen Yuan immediately embraces and kisses Lai Zio, who says she is tired from being busy all day, but he tells her of course not. 20 minutes later, she asks if he is happy now and tells him to go home, but he insists on staying over, promising to sleep on the sofa. Later that night, he receives a text from her asking if he is still awake. He finds her bedroom door unlocked and enters, surprising her. He quiets her, and when she says what she said earlier was nonsense, he tells her he already took it seriously. As they get intimate, he teases her for being so loud already when he hasn't even put it in yet, finding her effort to hold back her voice cute. She cries out his name as her breathing gets heavy. She tells him to put it in, and when he tells her to beg, she whispers please as they kiss. 2 hours later, she lies satisfied, admitting it's been a long time. She confirms he is her first real partner and makes him promise not to tell his sister. Suddenly, Lai Meng gets up to use the bathroom, causing Lai Zio to panic. He reassures her that this is nothing compared to their escapades at Sister Lin's house. After Lai Meng returns to her room, he asks Lai Zio if the experience was like a roller coaster, but she replies it was just terrifying. The next morning, as Lai Zio serves breakfast, Shen Yuan calls her baby, which catches her off guard. He tries to touch her, but she pushes him away, calling him a pervert. He notes her different demeanor from the night before and the lack of an affection meter, concluding she sees him purely as a partner. Lai Meng comes out and tells her sister to cover up, and Lai Zio apologizes for letting him stay over, promising it won't happen again, but Lai Meng quickly says she didn't mind. At breakfast, Lai Zio wonders why Shen Yuan is eating so much, while Lai Meng internally speculates it's due to his energy expenditure with both sisters. Later that day at 9:30 a.m., Shen Yuan confronts manager Jia with incriminating documents about his theft from the company. He gives Jia an ultimatum: leave the company with his men and tell him everything he knows or face prison. Jia agrees to confess everything. Shen Yuan then dismisses Jia, telling him to hand everything over to Yu Jiefeng. His secretary enters and shows him a potential apartment rental, which he approves. His phone then buzzes with a video call from a crying Coach Liu. She complains that his workouts have become shorter and asks tearfully if he doesn't need her anymore. He asks why she is crying over something so trivial. Shen Yuan is in an intimate embrace with a woman who explains that she has been busy restructuring the company and that once the other two branches are adjusted, he will be sent to check on their results as part of the fitness center's improvement plan. The scene then jumps forward 2 hours to find Shen Yuan in bed beside the woman, where he receives a text message inviting him to the soft opening of a bar in which he is a shareholder. He agrees to attend. Upon arriving at the Tipsy Breeze bar, Shen Yuan notes the large crowd, assuming they are friends of Lai Yuheng. He is then approached by a man with red hair and glasses who introduces himself as Jin Kangwen, a middle school classmate, and invites him to join the others. Shen Yuan greets his old friends and learns that Lai Yuheng will be arriving later after taking care of something. At the table, another man named Cheng Ziyan points out that they are the only ones without female companions and suggests they invite some girls over. Shen Yuan declines, so Cheng Ziyan asks for his help in choosing between two women he finds attractive, while also noticing a cosplayer named Kaio Lei working nearby. Cheng Ziyan, confident in his expensive watch, approaches the women and later reports back to Shen Yuan that they agreed to join them after their livestream, though one gave the strange excuse that her WeChat was banned. Later, Shen Yuan is approached in a hallway by Kaio Lei. She confronts him, asking if he was pretending not to see her and testing her to see if she would add strangers on social media. He denies it, and she asks how she should act at his table as a friend or a stranger, to which he replies she can do as she pleases, which he finds interestingly direct. Back at the table, the group welcomes the influencer Kiki and her friend Lele. After a round of toasts, Shen Yuan offers Lele, who is actually Kaio Lei, a glass of champagne which she says tastes like soda. She then brings up her startup proposal, asking when he plans to invest in her media company. He expresses hesitation, citing the large investment required and her lack of a core fan base, but she argues she has a significant following and connections. He tables the discussion, stating the fitness center is his current priority. At that moment, Lai Yuheng arrives and playfully scolds Shen Yuan for attracting the prettiest girl again. Kaio Lei interjects, wrapping her arm around Shen Yuan and declaring that she approached him because he is handsome enough to eat up, leaving Lai Yuheng stunned. Lai Yuheng complains that Shen Yuan is a shareholder who only flirts with girls, prompting Shen Yuan to tell him to get lost. Leaning close, Kaio Lei whispers to Shen Yuan that his assets are also quite big, a comment he says he learned from her, while others at the table watch in disbelief. 20 minutes later, she seems hesitant to speak. He asks when she learned to massage, and she explains she learned online, having practiced on Xinyu for the past few days. Shen Yuan looks at his phone, thinking that Lele needs to be kept hanging a bit longer. In another scene, Shen Yuan is with the woman from the start of the chapter, and he closes her bedroom door too loudly. Her sister, Lai Meng, calls out from another room, and the woman lies, saying she just closed the bathroom door too hard. The woman tells Shen Yuan he is a bastard for not being afraid of getting caught, and he jokes that if they were, they would all just do it together, before grabbing her in an embrace. Later in bed, she complains that he was too rough and suggests they use hotels in the future, but he claims he is a broke student and cannot afford one. She calls him shameless, pinching his cheek and reminding him of the expensive gifts he bought, and he pulls her into a kiss, promising to be gentler next time. The next morning, her sister, Liu Xinyu, finds Shen Yuan in her bed and asks when he arrived. He says Lai Meng let him in around 1 a.m. because he missed her. Liu Xinyu tells him to rest while she makes breakfast. Lai Meng later confronts Liu Xinyu about not waking her, and Liu Xinyu explains she didn't want to disturb her. Lai Meng thinks to herself that he was there for a sneak attack on one of them. Later, Liu Xinyu, dressed in an apron, calls a sleepy Shen Yuan to eat breakfast. As he stares at her, Lai Meng snaps at him to eat, then immediately questions her own jealousy, musing that feelings might be developing in their partner arrangement. After Liu Xinyu leaves to get changed, Lai Meng asks why he isn't taking her to work. He replies coolly that they are just partners and he will take her when he feels like it. This earns him a heartless jerk label in her thoughts as her affection meter reads 65 image with 65. He then asks for her flight time and arranges to drop her sister off before taking her to the airport. After dropping off Liu Xinyu, she is met by a colleague, Teacher Sun, who teases her about being seen in Shen Yuan's expensive car and asks how long they have been together. Liu Xinyu denies they are a couple, but Teacher Sun continues to tease her about an older woman falling for a younger, handsome, and rich man. In the car, Lai Meng demands the front seat, but Shen Yuan suggests the back is more comfortable, leading to a tense exchange where she refuses to leave the car. During their drive, his hand moves onto her thigh, shocking her. He asks if this isn't what she wanted, and the chapter ends with her flusteredly denying it and him asking what she meant. The scene continues with her brother telling Shen Yuan to be normal. Shen Yuan mentions he runs his own crypto trading company. Lai Meng's brother jokes that when she marries Shen Yuan, he can just lie flat and be raised by him too. Shen Yuan retorts that he would only consider it if the brother were like his sister, but at his current level, he's lacking and should eat papaya for 2 more years. He then adds that if he's willing to look at her, it means she looks good, and if she's unhappy, he won't look next time even if she asks. Flustered, she asks if he really means that just before he slams on the brakes. In a different scene, a woman with orange hair is in a close embrace with Shen Yuan, remarking that a boss might come down. She finds the encounter more intense than imagined, and as he holds her waist, she says it hurts. He apologizes, admitting he couldn't control himself, and her affection level rises to 74. She suggests they can go back upstairs later, and he agrees. 20 minutes later, she seems hesitant to speak. Shen Yuan asks what's wrong. In another setting, Shen Yuan is having a meal with 2 women, and he tells one of them that her mother wants to thank him, suggesting they find a day to eat together. Later, the other woman, Xuangshuan, teases her sister, Xinyu, asking what she grew up eating to be so well endowed. Later at their home, Xinyu asks Shen Yuan, who has just arrived, if he has eaten and offers to run a bath for him. Xuangshuan comments on how spoiled her brother-in-law is and declares she will be sleeping with Xinyu. Xuangshuan tries to take a snack from Shen Yuan, but Xinyu stops her, saying she will buy more for him if he wants, leading Xuangshuan to complain that she is spoiling him too. Xinyu's affection level is shown to be at 63, and she is pleased with the steady progress. Shen Yuan is then called to come in. Later, Xuangshuan notices Xinyu's face is red and teases her, asking if she also likes her brother and demanding a confession. In a large bath, a woman named Nana massages a relaxed Shen Yuan. He asks when she learned to massage, and she explains she learned online, having practiced on Xinyu for the past few days. He pulls her into the water with him, telling her she's learned bad things because her technique is too good to have been acquired so quickly. He compliments her on being amazing in every way and invites her to join him. As they embrace, a phone starts ringing. Shen Yuan asks if something is wrong, but Nana dismisses it, saying that even something huge is not as important as what they are currently doing. Half an hour later, Shen Yuan is in bed next to a sleeping Nana, looking at his phone, which displays messages and photos from a girl who says she misses him. He thinks to himself that Hui is getting more and more mischievous. The girl on the phone texts her disappointment at his simple scene reply, asking if he's sure he hasn't already handled the pictures she sent. He texts back that she's underestimating him and that her bland photos wouldn't be enough to make him act. She then offers to send some real delicacies, to which he immediately replies that he would appreciate it and asks her to send them now. The girl, Lele, sits on her bed and thinks to herself that he clearly wants the photos badly, and that she enjoys teasing him before texting that he can have them in his dreams, because she is not sending them. Shen Yuan looks at his phone, thinking that Lele needs to be kept hanging a bit longer. She texts asking if they are meeting up, and he replies that they are not. In her room, she looks at her phone in disbelief and texts him, complaining that he won't meet her just because she didn't give in yesterday, but she is still his chosen concubine. He texts back that he is indeed the type who holds grudges. She responds by reminding him that she gave him her first kiss and her first time. He coolly replies that she needs to line up and understand the concept of first come, first served. She looks from her phone to her reflection, then texts him asking who else there is, questioning if they are bigger than her or have better skin.